Chapter 1651. The reflection of the starry sky flowed with the waves. After leaving Falling Star City, Yi Qinfeng did not waste any more time. He controlled the battleship and flew through the starry sky towards the distant 100 Battles starfield. He was prepared to participate in the 100 Battles martial competition that was held once every 100 years. Although he knew that with his current strength, it would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens to obtain first place in the 100 Battles martial competition, he still decided to give it a try. Not to mention, he also wanted to see how terrifying the top geniuses of the heaven domain were. I wonder what treasures this dead demon Yiksha and the others left behind for me. Yi Qinfeng ordered the Blood Skull to drive the battleship towards the 100 Battles starfield, while he returned to the universe mirror to check on the treasures left behind by the dead demon Yiksha and the others. True sacred flame, this is good stuff. Yi Qinfeng summoned the Chaos Divine Tree and swallowed the true sacred flame that the dead demon Yiksha had subdued. He then controlled the Chaos Divine Tree to fuse the 3 sacred flames within the tree. The 3 sacred flames were of high quality. After fusing, they would transform into the true sacred flame. At that time, he would be able to control 2 true sacred flames and use the sacred flame triple transformation. After the Chaos Divine Tree swallowed the true sacred flame, Yi Qinfeng took out the dead demon Yiksha's greatest trump card, the Chaos Essence bead that could greatly increase one's strength. He studied it carefully and dripped his blood on it to bind it. Yi Qinfeng had the Grand Mist blood, so he easily bound the Chaos Essence bead. Information about the Chaos Essence bead appeared in his mind. Low-grade, transcendent saint treasure. What kind of fortuitous encounter did this dead demon Yiksha obtain? He actually has so many transcendent saint treasures on him. After learning the grade of the Chaos Essence bead, Yi Qinfeng was overjoyed. He fused the Chaos Essence bead into the Shun-Kei meridian in his navel, replacing the heaven-suppressing bead. Demon Sealing Sword. What secret is this sword hiding? While controlling the Life Essence bead to fuse with the Chaos Essence bead, Yi Qinfeng took out the Demon Sealing Sword and tried to bind it with his blood. Grand Mist blood, who are you? Why do you have the Grand Mist blood? Suddenly, a ferocious voice sounded from the demon sealing sword greedily. And who are you? Yi Qinfeng was stunned, revealing a trace of surprise. He was surprised that the sealed soul in the demon sealing sword had recognized the primordial blood. Humph. This devil is a devil spirit that was born when the world was created. Of course I know about the primordial blood. The demon sealing sword's demon spirit said arrogantly, You, on the other hand, are the weak human. To think that you possess the primordial blood. How surprising. The devil spirit that was born at the beginning of the world. Yi Qinfeng didn't believe Mo Ling's nonsense at all. If you are so powerful, why would you be sealed in a low-grade, transcendent saint artifact? What do you know? Do you think a lower-grade, transcendent saint artifact can seal me? The demon spirit said disdainfully, What, isn't this sword a lower-grade, transcendent saint artifact? Yi Qinfeng raised his eyebrows in surprise. Of course, this sword is made of ancestral gold. It is a genuine ancestral artifact. However, no one can inscribe tool patterns on ancestral gold. Therefore, this sword can only display the power of a lower-grade, transcendent saint artifact. The demon spirit said patiently, How can I inscribe tool patterns on ancestral gold? Yi Qinfeng asked. Why should I tell you? The demon spirit snorted coldly. Demon spirit, I don't think you have told so many secrets to the dead demon Yiksha. The reason you are telling me so much is because of the primordial blood. Yi Qinfeng said. That's right. The primordial blood is the number 1 bloodline in the universe. Those who possess this bloodline are definitely not simple. Also, do you think I can help you? Yi Qinfeng continued. It's easy to talk to smart people. The demon spirit said, "Boy, how about we make a deal? I will help you inscribe ancestral marks and help you defeat your opponent. In return, you will help me reconstruct my devil body and let me see the light of day again. If I help you find a perfect devil body, you will be able to reconstruct your devil body." Yi Chen Feng said with a flash of inspiration in his mind. "That's right," the demon spirit said. "What do you think of the devil body of a 6-star devil ancestor?" Yi Chen Feng said with a faint smile. "Junior, I advise you not to fool this devil. You know what kind of existence a 6-star devil ancestor is. He can kill you with just a fart," the demon spirit said without any trace of politeness. "I know I am not a match for a 6-star devil ancestor. However, I know of a place where a 6-star devil ancestor is suppressed. Not long ago, I destroyed the remnant soul of that devil ancestor. When the time comes, we should be able to plan for you to erode that devil ancestor's soul and reincarnate in his body." Yi Chen Feng told the demon spirit in detail about the mystery of the 6-star devil ancestor that was suppressed in the sea of stars. 6-star devil ancestor. The demon spirit was tempted. If he could really reincarnate in the body of a 6-star devil ancestor, then he would have a chance to take revenge for being sealed. "Junior, you must swear by the heavenly Tao to help me reconstruct my devil body. After you swear the oath, we will cooperate," the demon spirit said. "Okay." Yi Chen Feng nodded and happily swore the oath by the heavenly Tao. "Now, can you tell me the method to inscribe the ancestral mark?" "Forget it. Seeing that you're quite sincere, I'll tell you the secret," the demon spirit slowly said. "The key to inscribing the ancestral mark is to find an item. Only that item can inscribe the ancestral mark in the ancestral artifact." "What item?" Yi Chen Feng raised his eyebrows and quickly asked. "The chaos stone that was born when the world was created," the demon spirit said. "As long as you can find the chaos stone, I can help you inscribe the ancestral mark in this demon sword." "Where can we find chaos stones?" Yi Chen Feng said with a slight frown. "That will depend on your luck and ability," the demon spirit said. "I am only responsible for inscribing the ancestral mark for you. The task of finding the chaos stone will depend on you." "Demon spirit, what sort of might can you make the demon seal sword display before you inscribe the ancestral mark on it?" Even though the colossal spirit sword was formidable, the might of a top-grade true spirit saint artifact was clearly insufficient if he wanted to obtain good results in the 100 battles martial competition. So he had to rely on the demon seal sword. "I can't bring forth the true might of this sword without the ancestral mark, and I can only make it attain the mid-grade transcendent saint artifact at most," said the demon spirit. "A mid-grade transcendent saint artifact. That's enough." Yi Chen Feng revealed a trace of delight. His combat strength had risen by almost 100 times with the demon seal sword in his possession. Coupled with the amplification provided by the Godblood Pearl and Chaos Pearl, he was fully confident in his ability to kill ordinary 6-star Tao Lords. After completing the transaction with Mo Ling, Yi Chen Feng continued to check the belongings of the dead demon Yiksha and the others, other than the low-grade Transcendent Saint treasure 9-layered Black Tower. He also obtained the White Dragon Rope, the Battle Axe, the half-Transcendent Saint treasure battle armor, the Sea God's Trident, the Sky Piercer Halberd, and the beautiful young woman's personal cave. Yi Chen Feng gave the Battle Axe to the Black Rock Emperor, the Divine Sea Trident to Mo Ba, and he intended to repair the battle armor and give it to Xia Wendy. Besides these numerous, extremely precious Transcendent Saint artifacts, Yi Chen Feng had obtained many other world-shocking treasures. In particular, the dead demon Yiksha had many pills that even Tao gods would covet. 1 mid-grade Transcendent Saint pill, 8 low-grade Transcendent Saint pills, 12 half-grade Transcendent Saint pills, 38 9-star True Spirit Saint pills. Besides these medicinal pills of immeasurable value, Yi Chen-feng had obtained many rare saint artifacts as well, especially the adamantium saint tree, heaven rank blood coral, spiritual blood mushroom horse, half saint swordgrass, and 3 10,000-year-old lifespan fruits. So long as Yi Chen-feng was given sufficient time and relied on the medicinal pills and saint artifacts he obtained from the Iksha, then it would be sufficient for him to break through into the 6-star Downlord realm and attain the 2nd level of the combat body realm. What's this? Suddenly, Yi Chen-feng noticed an extremely inconspicuous scroll amongst the Yiksha's possessions. When he sent his soul energy into the scroll, he noticed that the seal on the scroll was unimaginably strong. He utilized the God-Eater brain and exhausted a great deal of effort before he was able to break through the restrictions on the scroll. The spatial restriction. Yi Chen-feng swiftly browsed through the scroll, and he knew why the Yiksha was willing to exchange the Black Tower for the spatial divine wood branch. The spatial restriction was a defensive divine ability that was cultivated with the energy of space as its foundation. The deeper one's comprehension of the energy of space was, the stronger the defensive strength of this technique would be. If one was able to cultivate the energy of space to the 9th level, then this technique would be able to resist the might of an ancestral artifact. Yiksha, thank you so much. There's still around a year before the 100 Battles competition. I'll cultivate in the universe realm for 10 years and see if I can rely on these saint pills and saint artifacts to improve my cultivation a step further. Yi Chen-feng distributed a huge amount of saint pills to Xiao Wendy, the Black Rock Emperor, and the Blood Skull. After that, he gave the Chaos Divine Beast and the other saint beasts a huge amount of demon cores. After that, Yi Chen-feng sat cross-legged within the space where time flowed 10 times faster, and he regulated his breathing simply before he tossed the damaged quasi-divine armor and a huge amount of top-grade equipment refinement materials into the 3-legged sacred cauldron. He diverted some of his attention to control the 3-legged sacred cauldron to repair the armor, controlled the God-Eater brain to comprehend the spatial divine wood branch, consumed numerous medicinal pills that could make Downlords go red with envy, and charged into the 3rd star Downlord realm with all his might. Chapter 1652. Time flew by swiftly within the space of the 3rd level of the universe realm. Master, we've arrived at the 100 Battles Starfield. Right when Yi Chen-feng was immersed in comprehending the spatial divine wood's old branch and cultivating the spatial restriction, the transmission pearl in his pocket lit up, and the Blood Skull's voice resounded from it. After cultivating in the universe realm for almost 10 years, Yi Chen-feng had refined a huge amount of precious true spirit saint pills and forcefully raised his strength to the peak of the 2nd star Downlord realm, and he was only a step away from breaking through to the 3rd star Downlord realm. After cultivating in seclusion, he'd grasped the 4 levels of the spatial laws, the spatial dimension transformation, and he could utilize the powerful energy of space to condense the dimensional slash. Moreover, he'd grasped the basics of the spatial restriction. Most importantly, 2 true spirit saint flames had appeared within Yi Chen-feng's body, and he'd refined the half-saint swordgrass, causing the might of his heaven-rank sword soul to rise a step further. Even though Yi Chen-feng hadn't broken through, his strength had risen explosively. If he were to face the death fiend Yiksha again, then he was entirely capable of defeating it. However, his current strength was far from sufficient to kill a 6-star demon lord. On the other hand, Xiao Wendy, Blood Skull, and Black Rock Emperor had consumed a huge amount of precious medicinal pills and demon cores, and their strengths had obviously risen. Xiao Wendy, who'd cultivated to the peak of the 5-star Dao Emperor realm, had obtained the quasi-transcendent saint artifact battle armor that Yi Chen-feng had refined in a personal cave abode. Her defensive strength had risen greatly, and she was capable of protecting herself during the 100 Battles martial competition. Head directly to the 100 Battles city. There was still around a month before the 100 Battles city martial competition. Yi Chen-feng didn't waste any time and ordered the Blood Skull to drive the warship directly to the core of the 100 Battles Starfield, the 100 Battles city. On the way to the 100 Battles city, Yi Qinfeng's group encountered many experts, and they'd come to the 100 Battles Starfield with the same objective: to participate in the 100 Battles martial competition that was held every 100 years. The 100 Battles martial competition was the largest martial competition that the Divine Sky Clan, an absolute overlord of the Void God realm, held in the alien battlefield. No one knew why the Divine Sky Clan would hold a martial competition of this scale in the alien battlefield, but because the rewards of every martial competition were unprecedentedly generous, it also attracted the top-notch geniuses of various clans to take huge risks to participate. However, the Celestial Clan was known as the Void God Realm's #1 clan. Their overall strength far surpassed all the other clans, and almost every 100 Battles martial gatherings, first place was taken by them. Ayo, ayo, ayo! As the warship flew towards 100 Battle City at an extremely fast speed, a savage roar rang out under the hazy, starry sky. A black dragon, hundreds of zhang long, covered in basin-sized scales with a pair of coral horns and eyes that seemed to be able to see through the world, twisted its enormous body in the starry sky. It released a frightening dragon might as it flew towards the battleship Yi Qinfeng was on at an extremely fast speed. "Young Master Yi, there's a black dragon flying towards us. I'm afraid we can't avoid it." The expression of the Blood Skull, who was steering the warship, changed drastically when he saw the black dragon flying towards him. He immediately transmitted his voice to Yi Qinfeng. "Dragon!" Yi Qinfeng's heart stirred. He quickly left the universe realm and appeared outside. From afar, he looked at the black dragon that had turned into a black light and was rapidly approaching. After ascending to the heaven realm, this was the first time Yi Qinfeng had seen a divine beast dragon. As he personally felt the dragon might emitted by this black dragon, Yi Qinfeng couldn't help but sigh with emotion. A dragon was truly terrifying. "I'll use you to test my strength." Although the black dragon in front of him was extremely terrifying, Yi Qinfeng was not afraid at all. He flew up and appeared at the front of the warship. His hands quickly twisted, and a formidable power of space crazily surged forth. 100 layers, spatial seals. Seeing the aggressive black dragon crash into his body, he used the 100 layers spatial seals that he had just comprehended. In an instant, 100 seals formed in front of him, resisting the black dragon's attack. Dragons were definitely the most terrifying existence among the demonic beasts. Moreover, this black dragon in front of him was a mid-rank ancestral beast. Its strength was even more unimaginable. However, Yi Qinfeng's 100-layer spatial seals had extremely strong defensive power. After taking on the black dragon's ferocious attack head-on, the 100-layer spatial seals did not break. It completely blocked the black dragon's ferocious attack. Not bad, not bad. This 100-layer spatial seal's defense did not disappoint me. After taking on the black dragon's attack, the 100-layer spatial seals only broke through half of the seals. This made Yi Qinfeng reveal a satisfied smile. Roar, roar, roar. After being obstructed by Yi Qinfeng, this terrifying ancestral beast black dragon was enraged. It opened its terrifying bloody mouth and let out an earth-shaking dragon roar as it attacked Yi Qinfeng. Ka ka ka! After taking on the dragon's roar attack, a large number of spatial seals shattered. However, it was unable to break through Yi Qinfeng's 100 layers spatial seals. Heaven rank sword soul chop. At this time, a soul light flashed in Yi Qinfeng's soul sea. The heaven rank sword soul flew out and evolved the great Tao of heaven and earth. It slashed down on the black dragon's massive body. This attack was comparable to a transcendent saint artifact. It directly shattered a large number of dragon scales and left a deep wound on the black dragon's body. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng burned his powerful, grand mist blood. His physical strength instantly exceeded 15 billion genes. Yi Qinfeng took a step forward and transformed into the Grand Mist Giant. He fought with the furious black dragon in the starry space with his bare hands. The black dragon's physical body was extremely terrifying. However, Yi Qinfeng's physical strength had been amplified by the Grand Mist blood. Not only was his physical strength not weaker than the black dragon's, it actually far surpassed it. Yi Qinfeng erupted with his most powerful strength and fought fiercely with the black dragon. The terrifying strength sent the black dragon flying again and again, shattering its scales. Large amounts of blood flowed out of the black dragon's massive body like a fountain. Just as Yi Qinfeng was heavily injuring the black dragon with his most powerful attack, an extremely fast battleship appeared. Following which, several figures flew out of the battleship and surrounded the black dragon that was riddled with wounds and roaring furiously. Big Brother Yi, seeing the figures flying out of the battleship, Yi Qinfeng was stunned and revealed a trace of surprise. He did not expect to meet the battle tribe's princess, Zhan Shishir, in the alien battlefield. Shishir, why are you here? Yi Qinfeng erupted with his full strength and blasted the black dragon away with a punch. He looked at Zhan Shishir and asked, "We are here to chase this black dragon." Zhan Shishir pointed at the black dragon that Yi Qinfeng had severely injured. "What, is this black dragon your prey?" asked Yi Qinfeng in a low voice. "Yes, we noticed this black dragon in the 100 Battle Stellar region. We intended to capture it and make it my contract beast to protect me during the 100 Battles martial competition. However, we never expected that this black dragon's strength would be so formidable, and Anning was careless and allowed it to escape." Zhan Shishir nodded. "All right, since all of you noticed this black dragon first, then I'll give it to all of you." Yi Qinfeng had a rather good impression of Zhan Shishir. Moreover, the battle tribe had helped him in the past. Coupled with the fact that an ancestral beast at the level of the black dragon couldn't enter his eyes, he was extremely happy to give the black dragon to Zhan Shishir. "Thank you, Big Brother Yi." Zhan Shishir revealed a faint smile and spoke with delight. As she spoke, Shadow War God, who'd surpassed the 6-star Downlord realm, successively executed killer moves that shook the heavens and the earth, and he heavily injured the black dragon even more. Moreover, he used a chain to restrain the black dragon's enormous body, causing it to be unable to escape. Shishir seized this opportunity while the black dragon is heavily injured to quickly form a contract with it, said Shadow War God. "All right." Zhan Shishir nodded, and then she executed the battle tribe's secret technique to form a contract with the battle tribe within the black dragon's soul and successfully subdued this mid-rank ancestral beast, the black dragon. Chapter 1653. 100 Battle City, page 1. Fantastic! I finally have a contracted beast. Zhan Shishir was excited like a child after she successfully subdued the black dragon, and she spoke with delight. The peak of the 2-star Downlord realm. Shadow War God gazed at Yi Qinfeng and couldn't conceal his surprise. "Young Master Yi, did you really heavily injure this black dragon? What else could it be?" Yi Qinfeng revealed a faint smile as he spoke. "Young Master Ye's speed of cultivation and combat strength are truly shocking. I presume that young Master Yi came to 100 Battles Stellar region to participate in the 100 Battles martial competition, right?" Shadow War God restrained the shock in his heart as he spoke. "Yes, I did come for the 100 Battles martial competition." Yi Qinfeng nodded. "With the combat strength young Master Yi revealed now, you'll definitely be able to obtain a good ranking in the 100 Battles martial competition," Shadow War God said. "I'll give this Realm Breaker pill to young Master, and it'll assist young Master in breaking through into the 3-star Downlord realm as soon as possible." "Thank you." Yi Qinfeng had heard of the Realm Breaker pill, and he knew that it was a medicinal pill unique to the War Clan. Consuming it would allow one to break through in a short period of time. However, the Realm Breaker pill had extremely great restrictions, and it was only effective when consumed once. Consuming it after that would be completely ineffective. Come, let's head to 100 Battle City. The 100 Battles martial competition was about to begin, so Shadow War God and the others didn't waste any time. After Jean Chercheur placed the enormous black dragon into her personal abode, they controlled the warship and flew towards the core of 100 Battle Stellar region, 100 Battle City. Because the war clan's influence in the Heaven territory and even the Outer Realm was quite great, they didn't encounter any trouble while flying towards 100 Battle City, and they arrived outside 100 Battle City after flying for a few days. 100 Battle City is actually a complete starland. As he gazed at 100 Battle City from afar, Yi Chen-feng was deeply shocked. He'd never imagined that 100 Battle City was a starland that was extremely vast. Oem, oem, oem. Just as the warship of Yi Chen-feng and the others landed outside 100 Battle City, Yi Chen-feng's sharp senses suddenly sensed that the entire starry sky trembled for a moment. A saber light more than 300 meters long appeared out of thin air, bringing with it a terrifying destructive force as it cut through the starry sky and landed outside 100 Battle City. What a terrifying blade will! Signoring, who is he? Yi Chen-feng asked through voice projection as he looked at the tall and sturdy man in black robes descending in 100 Battle City with a startling saber intent. His long hair fluttered in the wind, giving off a wild and untamed feeling. This person is called He Guangdao, and he is the youngest son of the Black Demon Patriarch. His talent is extremely high, and after cultivating for less than 5,000 years, he broke through to the 6-star Demon Master Realm. He is the peerless genius of the Black Demon clan's younger generation, who is most likely to step into the 1-star Demon God Realm. Shadow War God transmitted. Also, this person once pursued Chercheur, but was rejected by the clan leader, which led to the incident of the Black Demon clan snatching Chercheur. Chercheur, I didn't expect to see you here. He Guangdao, who appeared outside 100 Battle City, suddenly noticed Jean Chercheur, who was not far away. His unruly face revealed a smile as he slowly walked over with a heavy blade on his back. Let's go, Anning. Let's enter the city. Jean Chercheur looked at He Guangdao with disgust and pulled Shadow War God's arm, wanting to enter the city. Chercheur, we are considered old acquaintances. I am very sad that you treat me like this. He Guangdao used his sturdy body to block in front of Jean Chercheur and the others as he said unyieldingly, He Guangdao, I am warning you. My father is in 100 Battle City. If you dare to pester me again, believe it or not, my father will behead you. Feeling He Guangdao's naked eyes constantly scanning her body as though he wanted to see through her clothes and see through her, Jean Chercheur felt uncomfortable and angrily warned him. Behead me? He Guangdao sneered and said, I didn't do anything to you, but clan leader War wants to behead me. Your War clan is a little too arrogant. You. Jean Chercheur was so angry that her face turned red, but He Guangdao's strength was too terrifying. Jean Chercheur and the others couldn't do anything to him and could only sulk. And while speaking, He Guangdao suddenly noticed Xiao Wendy, who was even more beautiful than Jean Chercheur, and his eyes immediately lit up. This lady is. He Guangdao changed his target and looked at Xiao Wendy, who was deeply attracted to him with ill intentions. My wife. Yi Chen-feng lightly blocked in front of Xia Wendy and coldly replied, Who do you think you are? You have no right to speak here. He Guangdao's face darkened and said, Why haven't you scrammed yet? As soon as the word scrammed was said, a terrifying voice like thunder exploded in the void. The rolling sound waves blasted into Yi Chen-feng's ears and attacked his soul, wanting to shatter it. He Guangdao's roar was so powerful that several huge boulders behind Yi Chen-feng were instantly shattered. However, Yi Chen-feng's soul sea was guarded by the God-Eater brain, so he simply ignored the roar attack released by He Guangdao. In the next moment, a blinding white light flashed in Yi Chen-feng's soul sea. The heaven-class sword soul turned into a 3-meter-long divine sword, which dropped layers of Dao will and slashed at He Kwangdao at close range. Wave-breaking sacred saber, break. He Kwangdao's pupils shrank, and the heavy saber on his back let out a terrifying sound. A slash broke through the layers of air and slashed at the heaven-class sword soul, blocking the attack of the heaven-class sword soul. Heaven-class sword soul, I didn't expect you to not be a piece of trash. He Kwangdao relied on his absolute strength to block the attack of the heaven-class sword soul. He stared fiercely at Yi Qinfeng and said with murderous intent, "Your strength isn't as powerful as you boast." Yi Qinfeng said without backing down, "It's been a long time since someone provoked me." The killing intent in He Kwangdao's body erupted without holding back. "Today, I'll use you as a sacrifice to let some people in 100 Battle City know that I'm here." "Enough, He Kwangdao. This isn't your Black Devil clan. If you provoke my Battle Clan's friends again, don't blame my Battle Clan for being impolite." Shadow Battle God's face darkened as she warned coldly, "If Blood Battle God and Slaughter Battle God were here, I might give your Battle Clan some face. But you're not qualified." He Kwangdao said arrogantly and contemptuously, "Is that so? Then let me have a taste of your arrogance." Shadow Battle God said in a low voice. A terrifying battle intent was released, and she transformed into a female battle god. "Senior Shadow, leave him to me." Although He Kwangdao's strength was terrifying, Yi Qinfeng's current trump card was enough to contend against him. Moreover, Yi Qinfeng also wanted to know how strong the top geniuses of the various clans in Heaven Domain were. Swish! Just as the battle was about to break out, an ear-piercing sword light cut through the void. The handsome Yu Yeming, who was wearing a long white robe, flew over on a flying sword. The next moment, the sword light under his feet shot out a peerless sword light. With a speed several times faster than the speed of light, it slashed towards He Kwangdao. He Kwangdao's face changed slightly when he was suddenly attacked by Yu Yeming. He immediately used the wave-breaking sacred blade to block. However, Yu Yeming's attack was far stronger than his. With a slash of his sword, Yu Yeming broke He Kwangdao's attack and sent him flying. He flew back a few hundred meters before stabilizing his body. Blood flowed from his right palm and dripped onto the ground. "Before the 100 battles martial competition starts, I don't want to kill anyone." Yu Yeming looked coldly at the gloomy He Kwangdao and said, "Now you can get lost." Okay. Although He Kwangdao was furious, he didn't let his anger get to his head. He coldly glanced at Yi Qinfeng, Yu Yeming, and the others. Rationally, he didn't attack again. He clenched his teeth, suppressed the anger in his heart, and turned to leave. Third Sect Leader, M. Chapter 1654. Many thanks. After not seeing him for a year, Yi Qinfeng sensed that Yu Yeming's strength had grown even stronger. Moreover, Yi Qinfeng sensed that Yu Yeming was only a thread away from breaking through into the 6-star Dao Lord realm. Once Yu Yeming broke through into the 6-star Dao Lord realm, his strength would be even more terrifying. "Brother Yi is too polite." Yu Yeming smiled and said, "Come, let's enter the city." "All right." Yi Qinfeng nodded. Together with Yu Yeming and the rest of the battle tribe, they walked along an ancient road that had experienced the vicissitudes of time, slowly heading towards the 100 Battle City. "Brother Yi, I still have some matters to attend to. Let's meet again during the martial arts competition." Walking into the 100 Battle City, Yu Yeming bid farewell to Yi Qinfeng and the rest and left by himself. "Brother Yi, who is that person? How can his strength be so terrifying?" Witnessing the scene of Yu Yiming repelling Black Wild Blade with a single strike, Zhan Shishir and the rest were deeply shocked by his strength and were extremely curious about his identity. "He is a friend that I made in Meteor City," Yi Qinfeng slowly said. "The 100 Battle Martial Conference is about to begin. 100 Battle City has gathered the top experts of various races. It is extremely chaotic. Why don't, young master, you follow us to the Battle Clan's mansion to rest? Shadow War God invited. Shadow War God is too polite. However, Windai and I still want to stroll around 100 Battle City, so we won't follow you to the War Clan mansion. After he'd witnessed Yu Yeming and Black Kwangdao's strength, Yi Qinfeng urgently wanted to enter the Universe Realm and enter the third star, Dao Lord Realm. Only by breaking through in a short period of time would he have any hope of obtaining good results. All right then, this is the map of my Battle Clan's residence. Young Master Yi Qinfeng, if young Lady Xia has nothing else to do, please come and find us. Shadow Battle God handed a jade slip to Yi Qinfeng and left with Zhan Shishir and the others. Let's go. We'll stroll around this 100 Battle City, then find a place to rest and wait for the 100 Battle Martial Competition to begin. After Shadow Warrior and the others left, Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendi wandered around the most famous cities of the alien battlefield. They wanted to try their luck and see if they could meet spiritual fish and others. However, the 100 Battle City was simply too big. Trying to find someone here was no different from finding a needle in a haystack. Yi Qinfeng did not hold much hope. They hadn't walked far when a treasure pavilion that was over 100 m tall, constructed like a palace in the heavens, and had an enormous gem inlaid on top of it while emitting a large amount of Dao insight, glows appeared before their eyes. Let's go and take a look at the treasure building. The 100 Battles Martial Competition was not going to be easy. Yi Qinfeng had to be fully prepared. He had to purchase more top-grade True Spirit Saint swords to increase the power of the universe sword array. So many experts. Walking into the treasure pavilion, Yi Qinfeng and Huang Xiaolong noticed that there were many experts gathered in the treasure pavilion. Among them were Dao Masters, Devil Masters, and Heavenly Masters that were rarely seen in the Heaven region. They could be seen everywhere in the treasure pavilion. The 100 Battles competition is indeed the highest level competition in the alien battlefield. It has attracted so many experts. Yi Qinfeng muttered to himself. He was worried about Xia Wendi's safety. Although her talent was extraordinary, her cultivation level was too low. If she encountered a powerful enemy, even if she had a portable cave, it would be difficult for her to protect herself. Yi Qinfeng slowly walked in front of a white-haired old woman and asked in a low voice, "Does your esteemed pavilion have any top-grade True Spirit Saint swords and treasures that can sense each other in the 100 Battles Martial Competition?" Yi Qinfeng had learned from Shadow War God that the 100 Battles Martial Competition was a competition where all the participating disciples were randomly teleported into a mysterious space. They would fight and kill each other, and the final ranking would be based on the number of enemies they killed. "How many top-grade True Spirit Saint swords do you want to buy?" the white-haired old woman asked in a somewhat hoarse voice. "The more the better," Yi Qinfeng said in a rich and overbearing manner. What a big tone. Top-grade True Spirit Saint swords cost 1 million top-grade heaven crystals each. "How many do you want to buy?" the white-haired old woman asked. 1 million top-grade heaven crystals. Yi Qinfeng didn't expect top-grade True Spirit Saint swords to be so expensive. He frowned slightly and said, "If I use a low-grade heaven-piercing Saint pill to exchange, how many can I exchange for?" Yi Qinfeng had killed many powerful Supreme Elders, but he only had 3 million top-grade heaven crystals on him. At most, he could only buy 3 top-grade True Spirit Saint swords. He had no choice but to think of bartering. "Take out your low-grade heaven-piercing Saint pill and let me see. If the quality is good, I'll give you 30 top-grade True Spirit Saint swords." The value of a low-grade heaven-piercing Saint pill was extremely high. There were only a few in the entire treasure pavilion. Hearing that Yi Qinfeng was willing to exchange for a low-grade heaven-piercing Saint pill, the white-haired old woman revealed a look of surprise and whispered. Yi Qinfeng's words also attracted the attention of many experts in the treasure pavilion. They walked over to watch. All right. Yi Qinfeng nodded and took out a low-grade heaven-piercing St. Pill in front of everyone. When he undid the seal of the low-grade heaven-piercing St. Pill, a thick medicinal fragrance filled the air, causing people to feel like they were on cloud 9 with just a whiff. Not bad. The quality of this low-grade heaven-piercing St. Pill is not bad. 30 top-grade true spirit Saint swords for it. The white-haired old woman carefully inspected it and revealed a satisfied smile. 50 top-grade true spirit Saint swords. Yi Qinfeng demanded an exorbitant price. Junior, you want to extort me? The white-haired old woman revealed a trace of annoyance. Senior, I think you should be very clear about the value of a low-grade heaven-piercing Saint Pill. 30 top-grade true spirit Saint swords are a bit low. Yi Qinfeng's expression did not change as he said indifferently when he met the white-haired old woman's angry gaze. 40 top-grade true spirit Saint swords, no more. The white-haired old woman pondered for a moment, gritted her teeth, and said, Good deal. Yi Qinfeng nodded and completed the transaction with the white-haired old woman, obtaining 40 top-grade true spirit Saint swords that were extremely important to him. That's right, Senior. I also want to buy a treasure that can allow me to sense each other during the 100 battles martial competition. Does your pavilion have it? Yi Qinfeng continued to ask. You're too late. The entire 100 battles city's consonants, jade, pendants have already been sold out. The white-haired old woman shook her head. I have a consonance, jade pendant. Do you want it? Suddenly, a cold voice entered Yi Qinfeng's ears. It was a skinny man wearing a black robe embroidered with a ferocious skull. His strength had reached the realm of a 4-star ghost lord. His hot gaze swept over Xiao Wendy, who was even more beautiful than a fairy, and he slowly spoke. What do you want? Yi Qinfeng frowned slightly, looking at the black-robed man with ill intentions, and said in a low voice, My request is very simple. 1 low-grade heaven-piercing Saint Pill in exchange for 2 consonants jade pendants. The black-robed man grinned, intentionally blackmailing Yi Qinfeng. Not exchanging. Yi Qinfeng didn't even think about it and directly refused. Boy, you have to think clearly. Just how big is the 100 battles martial competition? Without the consonants jade pendants, it would be impossible for the two of you to meet during the 100 battles martial competition. The girl beside you is so beautiful that any man would be moved by her. Do you want her to meet an accident in the 100 battles martial competition? So, exchanging a low-grade heaven-piercing Saint Pill for 2 consonants jade pendants is not a loss. The black-robed man spoke with an expression as if he was certain he had Yi Qinfeng under his control. It seems that you think you have us. Yi Qinfeng's pupils shrank, a cold light shooting out from his eyes. I'm just reminding you out of kindness. Such a beautiful girl. If she were to be defiled in the 100 battles martial competition, wouldn't that be too unfortunate? The black-robed man smiled and said, How about this? If you really don't cherish her, then why don't you give her to me, and you can raise any conditions you want in exchange. It's fine if you want low-grade heaven-piercing Saint Pills, but do you dare to bet on the combat arena with me? If you win, then I'll give you the low-grade heaven-piercing Saint Pill. And if I lose, then I'll give you the consonants jade pendants. Yi Qinfeng hadn't expected that the black-robed man would dare to target Xiao Wendy, and he was truly infuriated as he spoke coldly. During the period when the 100 battles martial competition was about to begin, private battles were strictly prohibited in 100 Battle City, and violators of the rules would be stripped of their qualifications to participate in the competition. If someone really had enmity that couldn't be resolved, then they could fight in public on the combat arena to resolve the dispute. Are you sure you want to challenge me? The smile on the black-robed man's face grew wider. As far as he was concerned, Yi Chen-fong was only a 2-star Tao Lord while he was a peak 4-star Ghost Lord. So challenging Yi Chen-fong was no different than courting death. You just have to answer if you dare or not. If you don't dare, then fuck off as far as you can and stop being an eyesore here. Yi Chen-fong intentionally infuriated him. All right, as you wish, I'll agree. The black-robed man revealed a trace of a savage expression as he gazed at Xia Wendy's beautiful and charming face and said, "Little beauty, once I kill him, then follow me. I guarantee that you'll be comfortable, and you won't be willing to leave me. It's just a dead person. There's no need to get angry. I'll wait for you at the combat arena. I hope you won't be terrified to the point of not daring to come." Yi Chen-fong lightly grabbed Xia Wendy's icy cold little hand and persuaded her in a light voice before restraining the flames of rage in her heart, and then they left the treasure pavilion and headed towards the combat arena that was the closest to them. On the other hand, the battle between Yi Chen-fong and the black-robed man had drawn the interest of many people, and it caused many people to come to the combat arena to watch the battle. Chapter 1655. I don't know if you're really an idiot or just pretending to be one. You actually dared to challenge me with your strength at the 2nd-star Tao Lord realm? It looks to me like you're tired of living. The black-robed man revealed a trace of a savage smile, and he gazed at Yi Chen-fong as if he was looking at a dead person. It was like Yi Chen-fong had already become a lifeless corpse before his eyes. I notice that you're extraordinarily talkative. Could it be that you intend to kill me with your mouth? Yi Chen-fong revealed a trace of an icy cold smile as he spoke with a composed expression. All right, all right, all right. I hope you won't beg for mercy later. As he spoke, dense, ghastly energy erupted from the black-robed man's body, and then a large amount of gray light shot out from his body and dyed the entire combat arena dark gray. The Ghost Fiend technique, a top-grade true saint technique of the ghost race. Looks like this black-robed man's status in the ghost race isn't low. The Ghost Fiend technique is a divine ability of the ghost race that's never passed down to outsiders. Only the direct descendants of the patriarch of the ghost race possess the qualifications to cultivate this divine ability. Looks like he's the son or nephew of the patriarch of the ghost race. As they gazed at the divine ability executed by the black-robed man, many people with discerning gazes had discerned the origins of this divine ability, and they felt that Yi Chen-fong was dead for sure. Only Xia Wendy firmly believed that Yi Chen-fong wouldn't lose. Not to mention that the black-robed man was a peak 4th-star Ghost Lord. Yi Chen-fong would still be able to crush him even if he'd attained the 6-star Ghost Lord realm. "Kid, allow me to send you to hell." As he spoke, the black-robed man shouted explosively while the baleful, ghastly energy that effused out from his body suddenly condensed into numerous, terrifying, ghastly slashes that tore through the air and slashed down towards Yi Chen-fong. "Humph. You." Yi Chen-fong grunted coldly as he lightly flicked his right hand before him. In an instant, an enormous chasm appeared in the space before him, and it resisted the black-robed man's Ghost Fiend technique. The 3rd level of the spatial laws, spatial isolation. As they watched the space before Yi Chen-fong split apart, the spectators below the combat arena revealed shocked expressions. The laws of space and the laws of time were the 2 most mysterious and powerful laws in the universe. Very few people could master these 2 laws. Seeing Yi Chen-fong use the laws of space, quite a few people began to guess his identity. As for the 2 white-haired old men protecting the black-robed man, their faces darkened as a trace of unease appeared in their hearts. Dimensional slash. After blocking off the black-robed man's attack, Yi Chen-fong once again used the law of space to split open the space above his head, creating an extremely powerful dimensional decapitator that ruthlessly slashed at the black-robed man. Demon Head Blade. The black-robed man's expression changed slightly. He instantly summoned the evil Ghost Head Blade, a semi-transcending Heaven Saint artifact, and used his full strength to meet the dimensional slash head-on. However, the power of the dimensional slash was extremely terrifying. Its attacking power was far beyond that of a half, transcending Heaven Saint weapon. Facing the attack of the dimensional slash head-on, the black-robed man's attack was shattered once again. Meanwhile, he was chopped down to the ground by the dimensional slash and heavily smashed onto the martial arena, creating a huge sound. Weak. You're really too weak. Yi Qinfeng revealed a cold smile as he looked at the black-robed man who was bleeding from the corner of his mouth. He was in a rather sorry state. I'll kill you. The black-robed man was completely enraged. He rapidly ignited his powerful bloodline and the power of his Dao core, rapidly increasing his strength. He activated the attack of the evil ghost head blade and slashed at Yi Qinfeng with his full strength. Break! Yi Qinfeng did not dodge the heavy blade slashes. He took a step forward, and the power of the 5 major acupoints in his body erupted. Over 5 billion pounds of strength and surging Dao intent poured into his fists. He struck out with his fists, causing the space to tremble as he constantly shattered the blade slashes that were slashing at him. Oh my God! Where did this person come from? How can his battle prowess be so terrifying? Witnessing Yi Qinfeng shattering the blade slashes with his fists, the onlookers were deeply shocked by his strength. True spirit blood bead fuse. Yi Qinfeng's battle prowess was beyond imagination. The black-robed man had no choice but to use his greatest trump card. He fused with a blood bead that was at the level of a supreme, true spirit Saint Treasure. Borrowing the power of this blood bead, he forcefully raised his strength to the level of a 5-star Ghost Lord. His strength has increased. I didn't think he would have such a trump card. It looks like the situation will be reversed. That's not necessarily true. That human hasn't used any trump cards, but that ghost race man has basically used all his trump cards. I think the final victor will be that human. As he spoke, the black-robed man who had risen to the level of a 5-star Ghost Lord roared. He raised the power of the Ghost Fiend art to the limit and launched his most ferocious attack at Yi Qinfeng, wanting to kill him in one fell swoop. Heaven Grade Sword Soul Break. Seeing that the black-robed man's attack was about to engulf Yi Qinfeng, the Heaven Grade Sword Soul flew out of Yi Qinfeng's Sea of Soul and slashed apart the tide of attacks, breaking his killing move. Heaven Grade Sword Soul. Heavens! Not only did he cultivate a sword soul, he even cultivated it to the Heaven Grade. Where did this person come from? Why have I never seen him before? Perhaps he came from the Void God world. Interesting. I didn't expect so many interesting people to come to this 100 Battles martial conference. Below the stage stood a white-robed man who was as tall and straight as a pine tree. He had an extraordinary bearing, and his strength had reached the peak of a 6-star Heaven Lord. When he saw Yi Qinfeng summon his Heaven Grade Sword Soul, his deep eyes shot out thousands of rays of light, revealing a trace of battle intent. It wasn't just this white-robed man who had developed a strong interest in Yi Qinfeng. There was also a burly man with 1 foot in the 1-star Demon Emperor realm. He wore a beast hide, his long hair casually draped over his shoulders, and his eyes were deep purple. He had 1 foot in the 1-star Demon Emperor realm, and he also developed a strong interest in Yi Qinfeng. After forcefully breaking through the black-robed man's attack, Yi Qinfeng used the sword steps and took a step forward, appearing near the black-robed man who had turned pale with fright. With a punch, layers of air immediately exploded. The terrifying fist light carried an unparalleled destructive power as it bombarded the black-robed man, forcing him to instinctively dodge into the air. Suddenly, he felt a terrifying pressure above his head. Yi Qinfeng had predicted the space he would dodge in advance and had already appeared above his head, stomping down on him with the tyrannical kick. With one stomp, heaven and earth were suppressed, and all living things wailed. The tyrannical kick was extremely heavy, and it directly broke through the black-robed man's body defense. It stomped on his body and directly sent him into the air. The sound of bones breaking resounded in his body. Third young master. Seeing that the black-robed man was in danger, the two white-haired old men who were responsible for his safety were instantly enraged. Two terrifying auras burst out from their bodies. What? You want to break the rules of the 100-battle city? Seeing the two white-haired old men who were unable to restrain their anger, Yi Chen-fong revealed a faint smile as he loudly reprimanded. Although the ghost race was powerful, they didn't dare to provoke the 100-battle city. Hearing Yi Chen-feng's warning, the two white-haired old men hesitated. This young master, this time, it is the third young master's fault. We hope that sire can be lenient and spare the third young master. Our ghost race is willing to give sire a pair of Lingxi jade pendants for free. The two white-haired old men gritted their teeth and said sullenly, No need to go through so much trouble. Kill him, and everything on him will be mine. Yi Chen-fong was unmoved. He stomped a second time towards the black-robed man. The tyrannical kick that was filled with the power of 10 billion jin once again stomped on the black-robed man's body. The terrifying power almost crushed his body. Sire, could it be that you want to become enemies with our ghost race? This is not a wise choice. The two white-haired old men saw that the black-robed man's life was hanging by a thread, and they immediately became anxious and loudly shouted, I will never show mercy to my enemies. You can only blame yourselves for provoking me. Finished speaking, Yi Chen-fong stomped a third time and directly broke through the black-robed man's defense. He ruthlessly stomped on his mangled body and directly crushed him. P.S. Requesting red envelopes. Chapter 1656. Kill two more. Page 1/1. Third young master. The two white-haired old men were instantly anxious when they witnessed the scene of Yi Chen-fong stomping the black-robed man into pieces. They disregarded everything and charged onto the arena that was covered in blood with the intention of killing Yi Chen-fong and taking revenge for the black-robed man. What? Both of you intend to challenge me on the arena as well? As he gazed at the two white-haired old men whose eyes burned with flames of rage and were seething with rage, Yi Chen-fong revealed a faint smile and spoke fearlessly. Junior, do you dare to accept our challenge? The two white-haired old men spoke in a ghastly tone. Why wouldn't a mob like you dare? Even though the two white-haired old men had attained the 5th-star Ghost Lord realm, Yi Chen-fong possessed too many trump cards, and he could kill ordinary 5th-star Ghost Lords like he was slaughtering chickens. All right. Die with the third young master. The two white-haired old men were deeply afraid that Yi Chen-fong would go back on his word, so they summoned 2 top-grade True Saint swords and attacked Yi Chen-fong from both sides with the intention of joining forces and killing him. Alas, you don't even have a quasi-transcendent saint artifact. Both of you are really shabby. Yi Chen-fong sighed softly. Over 200 supreme-grade, true spirit saint swords flew out of his body and quickly formed an extremely powerful cosmos sword formation in front of him, easily blocking the attacks of the two. What? 2 10 top-grade true saint swords? Exactly where did this fellow come from? His resources and reserves are actually so deep. Top-grade true saint swords were extremely valuable, and it was already extraordinary for an ordinary person to possess 2 of them. However, Yi Chen-fong had instantly summoned 210 of them, and it instantly shocked everyone in the surroundings and caused them to feel disbelief. Universe, Sword Rain. After resisting their attacks, Yi Chen-fong fused the God Blood Pearl and Chaos Pearl to forcefully improve his strength to the 4th-star Downlord realm, and then he fused his heaven-rank sword soul into the universe sword formation to lead the amplification of the sword formation's might. It transformed into a boundless rain of swords that attacked the 2 white-haired old men. Ghost Dragon appear. The might of the cosmos sword formation was too ferocious. It instantly suppressed the white-haired old man and his companion. In order to turn the situation around, They defended with all their might while summoning two ferocious ghost dragons. They roared and attacked Yi Qinfeng. Humph! The two ghostly dragons attacked. Yi Qinfeng's strength reached its peak in an instant. The power of the undead spirit pearl poured into his fists. He threw out two consecutive punches at the ghostly dragons. Ao ao! The two spectral dragons immediately howled in pain when they were struck by Yi Qinfeng's fist that was filled with the force of death. Cracks appeared on their hideous heads, and their colossal bodies were knocked back. Heaven and Earth Star Seal. Following that, Yi Qinfeng's hands quickly twisted. Surging Dao power and strength merged together, turning into two square seals that gave birth to the stars of heaven and earth. They fiercely bombarded the huge bodies of the two ghost dragons. The terrifying destructive power directly shattered the bodies of the ghost dragons, shattering them. Cosmo Strike. After forcefully shattering the two ghostly dragons, Yi Qinfeng swept across the sky. He controlled more than 200 Cosmo swords and turned them into two giant swords. Dao fell like a heavenly waterfall as they ruthlessly slashed at the two white-haired old men. Dodge! Sensing the terror of the two halves of the Cosmos sword, the two white-haired old men didn't dare to take it head-on. They instinctively dodged to the side. Although they relied on their speed to dodge the Cosmos strike, the Cosmos power that permeated the void still injured them. They even lost control of their bodies. Swish! A sword light flashed under Yi Qinfeng's feet as he appeared beside one of the white-haired old men like a bolt of lightning. Die! Yi Qinfeng struck out with his palm. Purple lightning appeared in the center of his palm. The terrifying purple lightning struck out and ruthlessly struck at the white-haired old man. Sensing the terror of the peak, the white-haired old man constantly used defensive trump cards to defend himself. However, the purple lightning's instantaneous attack was comparable to a low-grade, transcendent, sacred artifact. A 5-star ghost lord like the white-haired old man couldn't withstand it at all. As the trump cards he summoned shattered one by one, the purple lightning smashed into his body like a hot knife through butter. It directly shattered half of his body, causing him to fall limply to the ground. Big brother. Seeing that his companion was in danger, the other white-haired old man let out a sorrowful roar. He attacked Yi Qinfeng with all his might, wanting to save his big brother. No one can save him. Yi Qinfeng was even faster. He instantly appeared beside the dying white-haired old man who was lying in a pool of blood. He stomped on the old man's head and crushed his soul, killing him on the spot. I'll kill you. Seeing Yi Qinfeng stomp on his big brother's head and kill him, the remaining white-haired old man let out a sorrowful cry. He burned his Dao core and all the blood in his body at all costs as he launched a ferocious attack at Yi Qinfeng. He wanted to kill Yi Qinfeng for revenge. Sword Tornado Trap! With a thought from Yi Qinfeng, over 200 Qiankuan swords spun rapidly, forming a terrifying sword tornado. It directly trapped the white-haired old man inside and wildly destroyed his body. Ghost Art. Faced with the attack of the sword tornado, the white-haired old man increased the speed of the ghost art to the limit. He attacked with all his might, forcibly tearing a crack in the powerful sword tornado. You want to come out? Not so easy. Yi Qinfeng sneered and threw a punch at him. The fist aura that was filled with more than 5 billion kilograms of power and will of the way blasted towards him. The power that erupted in an instant forced him back into the sword tornado. No. Under the attack of the Qiankuan sword formation, the white-haired old man's injuries worsened. The sharp Qiankuan swords constantly cut into his body, cutting off his vitality. Gradually, the white-haired old man's attacks became weaker and weaker. He no longer had the strength to tear through the Qiankuan sword formation. Human brat, I won't let you go even if I become a ghost. With no vitality left, the white-haired old man let out a sorrowful and furious roar. He didn't care about the price he had to pay, detonating the source of his strength and Dao core to launch the most fatal attack at Yi Qinfeng. Boom! A pillar of energy shot into the sky, exploding the sword tornado that was swallowing him, and it blasted towards Yi Qinfeng with extreme speed. But Yi Qinfeng reacted extremely quickly. He swiftly retreated to the edge of the combat arena and relied on his powerful body to resist the fatal attack of the white-haired old man's self-detonating Dao core. Withdraw! When the power of the self-detonating Dao core gradually dissipated, Yi Qinfeng put away the remains of the black-robed man and the other two with a thought. Under the gazes of reverence, he jumped off the combat arena and prepared to leave with Xia Wendy. You really have guts. You actually dared to kill the 3 young masters and 2 elders of the ghost race in public. Aren't you afraid of the revenge of the ghost race? Suddenly, a graceful figure blocked in front of Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendy and spoke with a clear voice. It's you. Yi Qinfeng was taken aback. He had not expected to see the extraordinary woman in a colorful dress from the ancestral street. I never show mercy to my enemies, no matter who they are. You talk big. The tall woman in a white dress with an elegant temperament and indescribable beauty took the initiative to invite him. Do you have time? Let's find a place to sit. Okay. Yi Qinfeng nodded and followed her out of the noisy martial arena. They arrived at a tea house with an elegant environment. It was located beside a lake, and the grass was blooming with beautiful flowers. Third Sect Master's website. Chapter 16, 57. The environment here is pretty good. Looks like Miss is very familiar with this 100-battle city. Looking at the beautiful scenery around him, Yi Qinfeng suddenly felt his heart calm down and revealed a faint smile. There are many good places to enjoy the scenery and drink tea in 100 Battle City, but I like this lakeside building even more. The girl washed the tea very skillfully and brewed 2 cups of spirit tea that emitted a delicate fragrance for Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendy. She said, "The 2 of you have a taste. How is this heavenly peak before rain tea?" Okay. Yi Qinfeng nodded, took out the teacup, and lightly tasted it. Immediately, Yi Qinfeng felt that the spirit tea in his mouth turned into strands of pure, heavenly spirit energy, flowing down his throat and into his body. His entire body was incomparably comfortable. Good tea, really good tea. Yi Qinfeng could not help but take a second sip and praised. This kind of spirit tea is indeed rare in the world. Only this lakeside building has heavenly peak before rain tea. You can't drink it anywhere else. The girl revealed a trace of a charming smile and said, "If the 2 of you like it, drink more." "Oh, right, I still don't know Mrs. Great name." Yi Qinfeng put down the teacup and said, "Today's kindness, I will remember it in my heart. I'm called Ling Yusin." Ling Yusin pursed her lips and took a small sip of heavenly peak before rain tea. She asked knowingly, "But I don't know what young master means by this." "Miss invited us here to drink tea. Could it be that it wasn't to use your identity to intimidate the ghost race and make them have some misgivings and not easily take revenge on Xia Wendy and me?" Yi Qinfeng smiled and pointed out, "To tell the truth, I did have this goal in the beginning to repay your kindness to me." Ling Yusin nodded and said, "But now I feel that this is somewhat superfluous. You're not afraid of the ghost race's revenge at all. Miss thinks too highly of me. With just the 2 of us, we can't contend with an entire race." Yi Qinfeng shook his head and said, "The ghost race isn't a big race. They're just a small race that relies on the demon race. With young master's current combat strength, it won't be easy for the ghost race to take revenge on you." Ling Yusin personally poured tea for Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendy. "However, the 2 of you still have to be careful of one person." "Who is it?" Yi Qinfeng took a big gulp of Tianfeng tea before the rain and asked. Young Master Gui Xiao Di of the Ghost Clan, Ling Yusin slowly said. This Gui Xiaofeng is known as a supreme genius of the ghost race. He cultivated for less than 3,000 years and reached the peak of 6-star Ghost Lord. Rumor has it that he is one step away from becoming a 1-star Ghost God. And in order for the ghost race to obtain a good result in the 100 Battles Martial Assembly, they will definitely give him the ghost race's greatest treasure. If you meet young Master Gui Xiaodi, be careful. Thank you for your reminder, Mississippi. We will be careful. Yi Qinfeng smiled and slowly said, Yusin, I heard from Elder Yin that you're here. While they were talking, a clear voice suddenly came from outside the wooden house. A soft and white hand pushed open the door and walked in with a refreshing fragrance. Sister Bing, you're back. Ling Yusin slowly stood up and said, Let me introduce you. These two are my benefactors. Sister Bing is the owner of this small lakeside house. I don't dare to call myself a benefactor. We're just taking what we need. Yi Qinfeng said in a neither haughty nor humble manner, Hello, Sister Bing. I was wondering why Yusin brought an outsider to my place. So you are the one who gave her the Chaos Void Lotus Petal to cure her hidden illness. She was wearing a tight white skirt. Her sexy body was curvaceous, and her perfectly round legs extended out of the skirt. Her entire body was emitting a fatal temptation, but her cultivation was very vague. Right, do you have any more Chaos Void Lotus Petal? I want to ask for one from you. The Chaos Void Lotus Petal was extremely precious. Yi Qinfeng only had 2 left in his possession, and he wasn't willing to give them away so easily. I won't take your Chaos Void Lotus Petal so easily. I'll give you something of equivalent value in exchange. Bing Yingjun said, Perhaps I can help this miss, who possesses the natural Dao physique break through into the 1-star Dao Lord realm before the 100 Battles Martial Competition. Really? Yi Qinfeng's eyes lit up and revealed dense, pleasant surprise. Yi Qinfeng was rather worried about letting Xia Wendy participate in the 100 Battles Martial Competition. After all, her cultivation was too low, and it would be difficult for her to protect herself if she encountered the top geniuses of the various clans in the Heaven Territory. However, it would be different if she was able to break through into the 1-star Dao Lord realm. Since Sister Bing has spoken, then she'll definitely be able to accomplish it. Ling Yusin continued from the side. All right, then I'll leave Wendy to you, Sister Bing. Yi Qinfeng wasn't stingy. He withdrew a Chaos Void Lotus Petal that was sealed within an ice box and gave it to the extremely charming Bing Yingjun so that she could help Xia Wendy improve her cultivation in a short period of time. If I'm not wrong, then this Chaos Void Lotus Petal is over 10 million years old, right? Bing Yingjun removed the seal and lightly sniffed it with her white and tender nose. Sister Bing really is capable. Yi Qinfeng praised, and he exclaimed endlessly with admiration towards the enigmatic Bing Yingjun's discerning ability. Right, Sister Bing, do you know anything about the 100 Battles Martial Competition this time? I know a little. Bing Yingjun nodded. Sister Bing, do you know how many experts who've surpassed the God realm are participating in the 100 Battles Martial Competition this time? Yi Qinfeng really wanted to know how many competitors he had and exactly how strong they were. At least 5. Bing Yingjun stretched out 5 slender fingers as she spoke. 5 people. Yi Qinfeng slightly frowned and said, I don't know which 5 people there are. Yusin is one. There's also Huang Wutian from the Imperial Sky Clan, Tian Qingyin from the Divine Sky Clan, and the other 2 are Moe Chen from the Demon Clan and Gu Hong from the Ancient Clan. They're all 1-star God Realm experts. Bing Yingjun said as she drank the Heavenly Peak tea. Apart from the 5 of them, there's another person with terrifying strength. That's Yu Yeming. He definitely has the strength to challenge Dao Realm experts. Ling Yusin continued. Miss Yusin, are you all from the Void God world? Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath as he felt an enormous pressure. No, apart from me, they're all from the Void God world. However, I'm also somewhat related to the Void God world. Ling Yusin shook her head and said vaguely, Then, Miss Yusin, who do you think has the highest chance of becoming champion among the 6 of you? Yi Qinfeng asked. Naturally, it's Tian Qingyin from the Divine Sky clan. His strength is extremely terrifying. Huang Wutian from the Imperial Sky clan also has a chance of becoming champion. As for Moe Chen and Gu Hong, their strength can't be underestimated as well. They both possess heaven-defying trump cards. I'm not a match for the 4 of them. Ling Yusin spoke in detail. Thank you for telling me. Yi Qinfeng understood his main opponents and felt boundless pressure. There's still some time before the 100 battles competition begins. All of you can rest in the small building by the lake during this period of time. No one will dare to cause trouble for you here. I'll definitely help her break through to the 1-star Dao Lord Realm before the 100 battles competition begins. Bing Ingjun said. Then I'll leave everything to you, Sister Bing. Yi Qinfeng said gratefully, Right, Sister Bing. I wonder if you can help me with something. I want to use this heaven rank blood coral to exchange for some ancestral beast blood essence. How many heaven rank Dao diagrams does this blood coral contain? Bing Ingjuan's eyes lit up when she sensed the formidable Dao insight contained within the heaven rank blood coral, and she asked, 18 heaven rank Dao insights. Yi Qinfeng said, All right, my small building by the lake will accept this blood coral. At that time, I'll use all my connections to help you obtain more ancestral beast blood essence. Bing Ingjun promised. Thank you, Sister Bing. Chapter 1658. All right, there isn't much time left before the 100 battles martial competition. Come with me. I'll take you to cultivate. Bing Luo stood up slowly and led Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendy out of the wooden house that emanated a faint fragrance of tea. After she helped Yi Qinfeng settle down, she brought Xia Wendy to a mysterious space to cultivate. 5 God rank experts and Yu Yiming. It's practically impossible for me to seize the first position. The gap in strength between Lord rank experts and God rank experts was too huge. Not to mention that Yi Qinfeng wasn't even a 3-star Dao Lord right now. It was impossible for him to defeat God rank experts, even if he broke through. Alas, my starting point is still too low when compared to those geniuses in the Void God dimension. Yi Qinfeng sighed lightly, and then he returned to the world mirror and checked the spoils he obtained from killing the 3 ghost lords. 10 top-grade, true saint swords. That's not a small gain as well. Yi Qinfeng had unexpectedly noticed 10 top-grade true saint swords amongst their belongings. Besides that, Yi Qinfeng had obtained precious true saint blood pearls, the quasi-extraordinary saint artifact, the ghost head saber, the rhino jade pendant, and various other treasures. No matter what, I've only broken through to the 3rd star Dao Lord Realm. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and discarded all distracting thoughts. After that, he withdrew the realm break pill that War God Shadow had given him, raised his head and swallowed it. He intended to rely on the formidable medicinal strength of the realm break pill to charge into the 3rd star Dao Lord Realm with all his might. While Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendy were charging into their realms of cultivation at the lakeside, a mighty uproar had arisen in the Ghost Clan's estate. Have you found out the origins of that human kid who killed my son? Where is he hiding now? A middle-aged man in a black skull robe and white hair shattered the tea table by his side with a single palm strike, and he roared with unrestrained rage. Patriarch, we weren't able to find out the origins of that human kid, but we noticed where he's hiding. A spy from the Ghost Clan spoke with terror. Tell me where that kid is hiding. I'll capture him with my own hands, pull out his tendons, and skin him alive. The patriarch of the Ghost Clan, Guiyu, suddenly stood up and spoke with killing intent. Those two human experts are hiding in the small lakeside building. The ghoul informant said, "The lakeside? You use a lakeside building of Heavenly Palace's branch in 100 Battle City." "Use there," said the spy. "Could it be that the one who killed Xiao Feng is from Defying Heaven Palace?" Gui Yu's face darkened, revealing a hint of fear. Although the Ghost Clan was powerful, there was still a big gap between their overall strength and the Nition Palace. Moreover, there were rumors that the Nition Palace was a branch of the Kunlun Holy Land in the Void God Realm. They had an unclear relationship with the Kunlun Holy Land, so the Ghost Clan could not afford to offend them. "Father, leave this matter to me." Gui Shouty, who'd been drinking tea in silence and had an indifferent expression, put down the teacup in his hand and said, "I'll kill them with my own hands once the 100 Battles competition begins and take revenge for Third Brother." "All right, then I'll leave it all to you. I don't want them to leave the 100 Battles sacred territory alive." Gui Yu nodded and spoke viciously. As the date of the 100 Battles competition grew closer and closer, a large number of geniuses from the various clans had gathered in the boundlessly vast 100 Battle City, and they were waiting for the competition to begin. The reason the 100 Battles competition was so attractive was precisely because everyone who participated in it would be rewarded regardless of their results. Moreover, if one was able to enter the top 100, then the rewards one would obtain would be even more generous, and one would be able to directly fuse with the energy of the 100 Battles sacred territory and improve one's strength. "I've broken through to the 3rd star Downlord realm." After around 3 days, Yi Qinfeng had completely refined the formidable medicinal strength of the Realm Breaker pill, and he broke through the bottleneck of his cultivation in one go. He broke through to the 3rd star Downlord realm, and his combat strength improved greatly. "Phew, I've finally broken through." Not long after Yi Qinfeng broke through, Ling Yusin found Yi Qinfeng and passed the universe ring that Bing Luo had given her to Yi Qinfeng. So much ancestral beast blood essence. Yi Qinfeng's soul seeped into the universe ring, and he noticed that there were over 30 extremely precious drops of ancestral beast blood essence floating within the ring. Over 10 of them were dark red in color, and it was obvious that they were of a rather high grade. "Spaciator Bug, all of this blood essence is for you. Try to break through to the ancestral beast realm as soon as possible." Yi Qinfeng wasn't stingy and gave all of the ancestral beast blood essence to the Spaciator Bug so that it could devour the blood essence and complete its most important transformation. "There's not much time left before the 100 Battles competition begins. It's not suitable for me to continue breaking through in my current state. Why don't I try to break through to the 2nd level of the battle body realm?" Yi Qinfeng was afraid that continuous breakthroughs would cause his cultivation to become unstable, so he intended to temper himself through battle before continuing to break through and charge into the 4-star Downlord realm. During these days of waiting, Yi Qinfeng withdrew the adamantium divine tree that he'd obtained from killing the Iksha, and then he spat out true saint flames to burn the branches of the adamantium divine tree and refine them into the purest form of energy that fused into his body to temper his body and charge into the 2nd level of the battle body realm. After an unknown period of time, a bell that resounded through the horizon suddenly resounded in the sky above the boundlessly vast 100 Battle City, and it instantly suffused every single corner of the city and awakened numerous geniuses that were cultivating in seclusion. "Is the 100 Battles competition about to begin?" Yi Qinfeng, who'd refined 1/10 of the adamantium divine tree and was fully focused on tempering his body, woke up from his cultivation, and then he left the universe realm with the command of his will and appeared outside. Meanwhile, Xia Wendy, who'd been cultivating in the secret realm for over 10 days, had returned. Yi Qinfeng revealed a pleasantly surprised expression when he saw Xia Wendy, because he noticed that Xia Wendy had really broken through to the 1-star Downlord realm in such a short period of time. "Big Sister Bing, thank you." Yi Qinfeng spoke with heartfelt gratitude. He knew that Xia Wendy had definitely exhausted many divine treasures, since she was able to break through into the one-star Downlord realm in such a short period of time. The main reason Wendy was able to break through into the one-star Downlord realm so quickly is that she possesses the natural Tao physique. Bing Luster revealed a charming smile and said, "All right, both of you prepare yourselves and take your participation tokens. At that time, the tokens will naturally teleport both of you to the 100 Battles Sacred Domain to experience the preliminary round that lasts for 10 years. 10 years. Merely the preliminary round of the 100 Battles competition requires 10 years. Xia, Wendy spoke with slight surprise. On the other hand, Yi Qinfeng revealed a trace of happiness instead. He lacked time the most right now. So long as he was given sufficient time, then his strength would improve a step further, and his chances of going against God rank experts would increase greatly. Right, the preliminary round of the 100 Battles competition takes 10 years. During these 10 years, both of you will undergo life and death tempering in the 100 Battles Sacred Domain, and the 8 people that kill the most enemies after 10 years will emerge victorious and enter the final round. Bing Luster explained the rules of the competition to Yi Qinfeng and Xia Wendy in detail. Then Big Sister Bing, will people die in the 100 Battles Sacred Domain? Xia Wendy continued. Logically speaking, no one will die. When your life is hanging by a thread, your participation tokens will shatter and you'll be teleported out of the 100 Battles Sacred Domain. However, if your attacks are too strong and instantly exceed the tolerance of the token, then it's still possible to kill your opponent. Once you fail, the number of enemies you kill in the beginning will belong to the person that defeats you, said Bing Luster. As she spoke, Yi Qinfeng, Xia Wendy, and Ling Yusin's participation tokens lit up at their waists. Yi Qinfeng quickly took off his golden glass battle suit and handed it to Xia Wendy along with a rhino jade pendant and true spirit blood beads. He said, "Matzi, be careful. I'll find you as soon as possible." "All right, you be careful too. I'll wait for you." Xia Wendy nodded as she stared at Yi Qinfeng affectionately. The next moment, the 3 of them were engulfed by a powerful teleportation force, instantly disappearing from the lakeside building. P.S. Yi Qinfeng's picture has been posted. Add your friends on WeChat. YLTY83. Chapter 1659. What a rich heaven and earth spiritual energy. This is the 100 Battle Holy Realm. After being transported to the universe realm by the tournament token, Yi Qinfeng's mind immediately flooded with a large number of rules for the preliminaries. Matzi, Lingyu, I hope nothing bad happens to you. Yi Qinfeng muttered to himself as he stood in midair with a rhino jade pendant on his wrist, looking at the lush ancient trees in the distance. Swish, 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 swish. Yi Qinfeng stood in midair and looked into the distance. Suddenly, an ear-piercing sound rang out. A 6-star heavenly emperor was hiding in the crown of an ancient tree that was several hundred feet tall. He was deducing a powerful Tao intent, pulling a high-grade true spirit sacred bow, and shooting it at Yi Qinfeng, wanting to kill him. Humph! A mere 6-star heavenly emperor dares to provoke me? Yi Qinfeng coldly snorted and waved his arm. A mercury-like sword beam cleaved down, shattering the light arrows and shattering the ancient tree that the 6-star heavenly emperor was hiding in. Although the 6-star heavenly emperor sensed danger and instinctively dodged, Yi Qinfeng's strength far surpassed his. The sword beam that instantly intertwined still injured him, sending him flying several hundred meters and heavily slamming into the ground, suffering heavy injuries. Heaven escape! Having experienced Yi Qinfeng's terror, the 6-star heavenly emperor ignored his heavy injuries and used his powerful bloodline power to execute the celestial race's inherited divine ability. He instantly raised his speed to the peak and fled into the distance. Can you escape? Yi Qinfeng stepped out with his sword steps, instantly increasing his speed by several dozen times, closing the distance between them. In the next instant, Yi Qinfeng blasted out a fist at him. The terrifying fist beam shattered layers of space and smashed into his body, shattering the token on his body and sending him directly out of the 100-battle Holy Realm, losing the qualifications to participate in the tournament. 1. Seeing the token at his waist, flashing the number 1, Yi Qinfeng revealed a faint smile. He switched to sword steps and flew into the depths of the forest at an extremely fast speed, searching for the next place. The 100 Battles Martial Tournament had attracted many races and over 500,000 disciples from various large factions to participate. However, the 100-battle Holy Realm was too vast, and the Holy Realm contained many small worlds. Yi Qinfeng flew at top speed for about 3 days before he met 2 people and easily defeated them. Sigh, it is indeed not easy to find Matzi and Lingyu here. Yi Qinfeng sighed softly and patiently continued to fly in the holy realm of 100 battles, looking for a target. After flying for a short while, suddenly Yi Qinfeng's God-Eater brain, which was rapidly deducing, felt an extremely terrifying aura not far in front of him. This aura was so strong that Yi Qinfeng instinctively felt danger, causing him to not dare to approach. In the next moment, he discovered that the space in front of him was distorted in a large area. In the distorted space, there was a large hand that covered several miles of space. It collapsed a part of the space and heavily imprinted on the lush forest, causing a large area of the forest ground to collapse. A Dao God expert. Looking at the blurry figure in the distance, Yi Qinfeng felt that this person's strength was comparable to heavenly Dao. He should be one of the 5 Dao God experts from the Void God realm. Without hesitation, he sped up time by 4 times and raised his speed to the peak, escaping in the opposite direction at an extremely fast speed. The moment Yi Qinfeng left, an extremely fast spear shadow pierced through the air like a soaring dragon, stabbing towards Yi Qinfeng at an extremely fast speed. Heaven-level sword soul. Slash! Seeing that the spear light was about to pierce his body at an astonishing speed, the heaven-level sword soul flew out of Yi Qinfeng's soul sea. Fusing with a powerful Dao intent, it slashed at the dragon-like spear light. Ka-ka-ka! A series of cracking sounds were heard. The heaven-level sword soul lasted for 3 breaths of time before it was shattered by the terrifying sword light. However, Yi Qinfeng took advantage of the moment the heaven-level sword soul resisted and withdrew it. He dodged into the lush forest and avoided the spear attack. The moment Yi Qinfeng disappeared, the blurry figure that had collapsed a part of the world appeared. It released a powerful soul power to cover the surroundings. When it did not discover Yi Qinfeng's aura, it let out a surprised cry. It was surprised that Yi Qinfeng had the ability to escape from its pursuit. Strong, too strong. The strength of a God-level expert is too terrifying. I don't know if my life, spirit technique, and 10,000 years of lifespan will be able to contend against him. After personally experiencing the spear light that pierced through him, Yi Qinfeng had a vague understanding of the strength of a God-level expert. He concealed his aura and continued to search for an opponent in the forest. Walala! As he flew, Yi Qinfeng heard the sound of flowing water in the forest. After flying closer, Yi Qinfeng discovered that there were streams flowing slowly in the mountains, forming a small pool. In the center of the pool, a woman was standing by the pool, washing her body. Her snow-white back was exposed, and she was stirring the ice-cold water in the pool. Feeling Yi Qinfeng's aura, the woman screamed like a frightened rabbit. Half of her body sank to the side of the pool. She turned around and looked at Yi Qinfeng, who was not far away, in horror. Who are you? The woman with wet hair covered her towering breasts with her hands as she spoke in a panic. It was unknown if she did it on purpose or if she was too voluptuous, but her fair and tender hands could only cover part of her breasts. Her enchanting curves shimmered under the sunlight and were as eye-catching as poison. Your acting is not bad, but unfortunately I'm not interested in you. As Yi Qinfeng looked at the woman exuding a charming aura, he revealed a faint smile as he walked over step by step in the air. I beg you, don't hurt me. Looking at Yi Qinfeng, who was getting closer and closer, tears welled up in the woman's charming eyes. Her lovely appearance aroused pity in others and stimulated the man's heart even more. Stop acting. Although the scene before him was very tempting, Yi Qinfeng was unmoved. He said indifferently, I'll give you a chance to attack. If you continue acting, don't blame me for not giving you a chance. If you're willing to let me go, I'm willing to agree to any of your conditions. The woman gently bit her moist lips and slowly stood up in the pool. Her seductive figure and enchanting spring scenery were completely exposed in front of Yi Qinfeng. Even now, you're still thinking of seducing me. I have to say you're too naive. As he spoke, Yi Qinfeng's fingertip shot out a sharp sword light. It cut through the air and stabbed towards her at an extremely fast speed. Boom! The moment Yi Qinfeng stabbed the woman, her entire body suddenly exploded. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng's sharp senses detected danger in the pool. A long spear like a venomous snake broke through the ripples on the surface of the pool and attacked Yi Qinfeng, instantly entangling him. Kakik, cute human, although you're harder to deceive than those stinky men, you still can't escape from my palm. After Yi Qinfeng was bound, the pool suddenly split open, revealing a charming woman with 2 fox tails. But seeing how soft and tender your skin is, Big Sister can't bear to kill you. How about this? You give me your yang essence, and Big Sister will spare your life. So it is a 3-tailed demon fox. Yi Qinfeng said indifferently when he saw the fox-tailed girl reveal her true form. He had figured out her true form. Following that, a terrifying power erupted from Yi Qinfeng's body, instantly breaking apart the whip that was binding his body and reaching the level of a mid-grade, true spirit saint artifact. You, how can you be so strong? Seeing Yi Qinfeng easily break the whip, the fox-tailed woman's face changed. She wanted to run away without thinking. Suddenly, a terrifying dizziness blasted into her spiritual sea, causing her mind to go blank for a moment. Pum! Yi Qinfeng quickly struck out a palm. The terrifying power and Tao intent fused together, turning into an extremely powerful palm print. It distorted the space and ruthlessly imprinted on her body, directly breaking her identity token and sending her out of the Sage of Battle's realm. Not bad, not bad. I didn't expect that she had already defeated 2 people. This time, I've already defeated 6 people. After defeating the fox-tailed woman easily, the number of tokens on Yi Qinfeng's waist had reached 6. This made the smile on his face grow wider as he continued to look for his next target in the Sage of Battle's realm. Chapter 1660. Time passed day by day. In the Sage of Battle's realm, every minute and every second was filled with intense killing. Yi Qinfeng had defeated more than a dozen people after more than a month of killing, and the number in his token had reached 28. And what's ahead? Just as Yi Qinfeng was releasing his powerful soul spirit power to search for his opponents, he sensed a strong spirit energy fluctuation in a valley ahead. He was startled and immediately flew over. And what is that tree? After flying into the valley, Yi Qinfeng discovered that there was a strange-looking tree in the middle of the valley. It did not have a single leaf, and its branches were covered with thorns. Its entire body was dark gray, and its roots were exposed outside. It looked like a dead tree. Although the strange tree in front of him looked ordinary, the God-Eater brain, which was rapidly deducing, sensed a powerful spirituality from this strange tree. This is the myriad withering ancient tree. When Yi Qinfeng looked at this dark gray ancient tree, the God-Eater brain immediately recognized this ancient tree. The myriad withering ancient tree was one of the ancient mystical trees. It grew extremely slowly, 1 inch every 10,000 years. This myriad withering ancient tree was almost 30 meters tall. and it was probably close to 10 million years old. I didn't expect such a good thing to exist in the Sage of Battle's realm. Yi Qinfeng revealed a faint smile and summoned the primal chaos divine wood. He controlled the primal chaos divine wood to devour this ancient myriad withering ancient tree. He had a feeling that if the primal chaos divine would succeeded in devouring this myriad withering ancient tree, it might evolve again. If the primal chaos divine would evolve further, it would definitely become his greatest trump card against the immortal experts. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Sensing the threat of the primal chaos divine wood, the myriad withering ancient tree immediately became restless. An old face appeared in the tree and spat out a large amount of wind to attack the primal chaos divine wood. After being attacked by the myriad withering ancient tree, the primal chaos divine would immediately shook its 5-colored tree crown and shattered the terrifying wind. It started to fight with the myriad withering ancient tree in the valley. The intense battle between the two ancient trees caused a huge commotion. Streaks of spirit light shot up into the sky and attracted the attention of all the cultivators in a radius of dozens of miles. They all felt suspicious and flew towards the valley where the myriad withering ancient tree grew. What are those two divine trees? The experts of the various races who had hurried over revealed looks of disbelief when they saw the two ancient trees fiercely arguing with each other. There was even a burning light in the eyes of some people who wanted to take these two ancient trees for themselves. Those who approach without permission will be killed without mercy. Yi Qinfeng's sharp eyes swept across the dozen or so cultivators of various races hovering in midair as he warned coldly. If it wasn't for the fact that the Chaos Divine would needed to wait while it was devouring the myriad withering ancient wood, he wouldn't have wasted his breath at all and directly charged over. What arrogance! I want to see how you're going to kill us with so many of us here. Although Yi Qinfeng's aura was very frightening, the temptation of the two ancient trees was too great. Many people lost their minds and summoned their weapons and treasures, wanting to work together to kill Yi Qinfeng. Cosmos Sword Formation. As the 6 monarch-level cultivators approached, Yi Qinfeng immediately summoned the Cosmos Sword Array, which transformed into a boundless rain of swords that flew towards them. Not good. Dodge. Sensing the terror of the Cosmos Sword Array, the 6 monarch-level cultivators' expressions changed drastically. They all used powerful defensive trump cards to block the Cosmos Sword Array's attacks, while rapidly retreating. However, the Cosmos Sword Array had been continuously upgraded. Its power was comparable to a low-grade, Transcendent Saint artifact. The 6 monarch-level cultivators' defensive trump cards couldn't stop it at all. The rain of swords from the Cosmos Sword Array pierced through them and continued towards them. Miserable screams rang out as the 6 monarch-level cultivators' tokens were destroyed by the Cosmos Sword Array. They disappeared from the Sage of Battles amidst their fear and despair. After killing the 6, Yi Qinfeng controlled the Cosmos Sword Array to circle above his head. He coldly stared at the various cultivators, whose expressions had changed slightly, intimidating them. Screech! Screech! Suddenly, a whistling sound came from the distant horizon. A man dressed in beast hide and standing on an ancestral golden eagle flew over. His jet-black hair danced in the wind, and he had 1 foot in the 6-star heavenly lord realm. It's the celestial race itinerant cultivator, Iliun. I didn't expect him to be drawn here. Seeing the man in beast skin riding his contracted beast, many people recognized his identity. Their eyes turned cold as they looked at Yi Qinfeng. Iliun's attention was immediately drawn to the Chaos Divine Wood and Myriad Withering Ancient Wood. He ignored Yi Qinfeng's threat and quickly flew over. Cosmos Sword Array slash. As Iliun approached, Yi Qinfeng immediately controlled the Cosmos Sword Array to slash at him. Screech! Screech! The ancestral golden eagle immediately opened its sharp beak and spat out bolts of demonic light that attacked the Cosmos Sword Array. It wanted to block the Cosmos Sword Array's attack. When the ancestor beast Golden Eagle attacked him, Iliun summoned a powerful halberd that had reached the level of half Transcendent Saint artifact. It transformed into powerful halberd shadows that shook the Cosmos Sword Formation and resisted the attacks of the Cosmos Sword Formation. Cosmos Sword Array, Cosmos Strike. With a thought, Yi Qinfeng controlled the Qinkuan Sword Formation that Iliun had forced back and fused them together, forming an invincible Qinkuan giant sword. It slashed through space with a destructive power and slashed towards Iliun, whose expression changed slightly. Not good. The Cosmos Strike's power was beyond Iliun's imagination. In the blink of an eye, Iliun controlled the ancestral Golden Eagle to dodge. But at this time, Yi Qinfeng's soul power exploded, forming a powerful dizziness that bombarded Iliun and the Golden Eagle's soul. Iliun relied on his powerful soul power to withstand the dizziness attack and dodge the Cosmos Strike. However, the ancestral Golden Eagle was affected and its reaction was delayed. It was hit by the Cosmos Strike. The Golden Eagle's huge body was split in half by the Cosmos Strike. It turned into a bloody mist in the air and died on the spot. So strong. This person is so strong. He actually killed a low-level ancestral Golden Eagle with a single strike. Many people were deeply shocked by Yi Qinfeng's strength after witnessing the Cosmos Strike kill the Golden Eagle. There were even some who turned and left in fright, not daring to target the primal chaos divine, wood and myriad withering ancient tree. Courting death. The 100 Battle Saint realm had restrictions. Each person could only bring in one contracted beast, and the contracted beast's life and death were not under the 100 Battle Saint realm's protection. The death of the ancestral Golden Eagle had completely enraged Iliun. He quickly used his most powerful trump card, forcibly raising his strength to the 6-star Heaven Lord realm. Wielding his half-transcendent saint artifact spear, he stabbed it at Yi Qinfeng. Primordial bloodline ignite. As Iliun thrust his spear, Yi Qinfeng instantly ignited his primordial bloodline, raising his physical strength to 16 billion gene, and punched out. When Iliun's spear collided with Yi Qinfeng's fist, an unimaginable strength erupted from Yi Qinfeng's fist. Like a flood breaking through a dam, it forcibly bent the half-transcendent saint artifact spear, leaving Iliun terrified. How is this possible? Could it be that he's not a human, but an unparalleled demonic beast? Iliun's eyes widened in shock after seeing the power of Yi Qinfeng's fist. He didn't dare to imagine that Yi Qinfeng's physical strength would be so terrifying. Not only did he block the attack of a half-transcendent saint artifact with a single punch, he even bent the spear. Heaven Grade Sword Soul Slash! While Iliun was still in shock, the Heaven Grade Sword Soul flew out of Yi Qinfeng's Sea of Soul, turning into a 1-zhang long sword that slashed at Iliun. Boom! Unable to dodge in time, Iliun was struck by the Heaven Grade Sword Soul. All of his defensive trump cards were shattered, and his body fell from the sky like a kite with its string cut, smashing a large crater in the ground. Witnessing the scene of Yi Qinfeng heavily injuring the Tian clan's loose cultivator Iliun, many people were shocked by his strength. Soon, only 3 master-level experts were left outside the valley, ready to reap the benefits. The others had all been scared away by Yi Qinfeng's shocking strength. Chapter 1661. Sky Rend. He was heavily injured, but his potential had been stimulated. He roared explosively, ignited his Dao core, and stabbed a spear towards Yi Qinfeng. Cosmos Sword Formation. Cosmos Strike. Yi Qinfeng's pupils constricted as numerous cosmos swords that emanated powerful Dao insights swiftly merged together and transformed into an invincible enormous sword. It tore open space and slashed apart Iliun's sky, rend into pieces. The terrifying sword image forcefully slashed Iliun down from midair and worsened his injuries. Iliun took a deep breath, suppressed his heavy injuries, and continued flying into midair. He continued stabbing his spear towards Yi Qinfeng. On the other hand, the three lords who were waiting outside the valley to reap the benefits suddenly launched attacks at Yi Qinfeng. They wanted to take a gamble before Yi Qinfeng blasted Yi Liyun out of the Sage of Battle's realm. "You're finally unable to restrain yourself." Yi Qinfeng laughed coldly as he instantly fused with the God Blood Pearl, Chaos Pearl, and 2 True Soul Saint Flames, and instantly raised his strength to the peak of the 6-star Tao Lord realm. Shit! Yi Liyun and the others were shocked when they sensed Yi Qinfeng's explosive increase in strength, and they didn't even hesitate to flee swiftly. "Can all of you escape?" Sword of the Ethereal Tao. 4 heaven-level Tao diagrams appeared around Yi Qinfeng. As he slashed out with his sword, the 4 heaven-level Tao diagrams instantly transformed into an invincible great Tao that slashed through space, bringing with it endless destructive power as it shot towards Yi Liyun and the others. In an instant, the identity medallions on Yi Liyun's group of 4 shattered. The 4 of them were transported out of the Sage of 100 Battles realm by the medallion, escaping the calamity. Chaos Divine would devour with all your might. Meanwhile, the Chaos Divine would shatter the myriad withering ancient trees' attack, and then it stretched out a few tens of thousands of 5-colored roots that took root in the myriad withering ancient tree and madly devoured its spirit. On the other hand, Yi Qinfeng sat cross-legged in silence beneath the myriad withering ancient tree and protected it. Very quickly, a day passed. Just as the Chaos Divine wood was about to swallow the myriad withered ancient wood, 3 thick demonic energies suddenly appeared. One of them had the strength of a 6-star demon lord. His appearance caused the space around him to tremble. A terrifying aura swept towards Yi Qinfeng like an avalanche. What kind of divine wood is this? Looking at the Chaos Divine wood that emitted a 5-color divine light that dyed the space of the valley, a man wearing a black robe embroidered with dragon patterns and carrying a heavy sword on his back was deeply attracted to the Chaos Divine wood, revealing a look of greed. When he glanced at Yi Qinfeng, he noticed that Yi Qinfeng was only a 3rd-star Tao Lord, so he directly disregarded him. Go, kill him. Such a divine object isn't something a nobody like him can get his hands on. The black-robed man ordered coldly. Yes, 3rd young master. 2 4th-star demon lords obeyed. They held 2 sharp and heavy spears in their hands, and they carried shocking demonic energy as they attacked Yi Qinfeng with the intention of killing him. At the instant they approached Yi Qinfeng opened his tightly closed eyes, and a myriad of strands of sword light shot out from his deep eyes. He'd instantly fused with the God Blood Pearl and Chaos Pearl, and he'd instantly risen explosively to the 5th-star Tao Lord realm. In the next moment, his hands twisted swiftly and condensed into an extremely powerful stellar seal of the heavens and earth, and it carried terrifying destructive force as it slammed down towards them. Even though the stellar seal of the heavens and earth was a low-grade, true spirit saint technique, Yi Qinfeng's attainments in Tao insights were too deep. Coupled with the fact that he'd poured terrifying energy into the stellar seal of the heavens and earth, it was practically comparable to a top-grade, true spirit saint technique, and it smashed down towards them. Bang! Bang! The 2 celestial seals of heaven and earth shattered, and the terrifying destructive force crushed the defensive trump cards that the 2 of them had continuously used, shattering the long spears that they pierced over. The terrifying power instantly engulfed the 2 of them, directly shattering their identity tokens and sending them out of the Sage of Battle's realm. Damn it! You actually dared to kill a member of my Black Devil race. You're tired of living. The black-robed man was furious when he witnessed the scene of Yi Qinfeng crushing his companion with 2 seals, and his deep eyes flickered with a ferocious expression as he glared angrily at Yi Qinfeng and gnashed his teeth as he spoke. So you're from the Black Devil race. When he thought about the arrogant and conceited He Guangdao who'd set his sights on Xiao Wendy, Yi Chen-fong revealed a trace of an icy cold smile and said, "Who else could I be if not He Kwang-dao?" "You know my big brother." The black-clothed man frowned slightly while his expression was livid. "I know who you are. You're called He Fingu because of the enmity with the Black Devil race." Yi Chen-fong had once asked Ling Yusin about the Black Devil race. He knew that the Black Devil race had two great geniuses. One of them was He Kwang-dao, who had cultivated to the peak of six-star demon lord, and the other person was his younger brother, He Fingu, who had cultivated to the six-star demon lord realm. "I didn't expect you to have some knowledge and know who I am." He Fingu revealed a trace of arrogance and said, "However, you've killed a member of my Black Devil race. No one can save you. Is your Black Devil race a bunch of frogs at the bottom of a well who only know how to indulge in wild fantasies?" Yi Chen-fong sneered and said without any trace of politeness, "You're courting death." He Fingu's eyes were filled with killing intent. A semi-transcending heaven saint seal, which seemed to be carved out of white jade, with a white bull lying on its surface and mysterious Tao patterns engraved on its bottom, broke out of his body and bombarded Yi Chen-fong with a terrifying suppressive force. Chaotic Divine would break. With a thought from Yi Chen-fong, the chaotic divine wood that had basically devoured the myriad withering ancient tree began to sway. The treetop that shone with five-colored light viciously struck the semi-transcending heavens saint seal. Crack! The suppressive force from the semi-transcending heavens saint seal instantly shattered under the attack of the five-colored treetop. Terrifying chaotic force wildly surged into the semi-transcending heavens saint seal, forcefully cracking it. What? He Fingu's eyes widened. He could not believe that the five-colored divine wood before him could crack his semi-transcending heavens saint seal with a gentle whip. In the next moment his vision blurred. Yi Chen-fong appeared before him in a flash and threw a punch at his chest, forcing him to dodge instinctively. Boom! Yi Chen-feng's fist aura exploded between the two palms in front of his chest, causing a rebounding force to explode. Although He Fingu had relied on his absolute strength to block Yi Chen-feng's punch, he still felt pain from his palms. He was shocked by Yi Chen-feng's terrifying physical strength. "I'd like to see how many of my punches you can block." With that, Yi Chen-fong ignited his primordial blood and instantly raised his physical strength to nearly 20 billion. His strength also reached the level of He Fingu. Following that, Yi Chen-fong punched out a second time. The fist aura, which was filled with a force of nearly 100 million kilograms, had an unparalleled destructive power and shattered the giant palm that Yi Chen-fong had condensed. It smashed into Yi Chen-feng's right palm, almost breaking his arms and sending him flying. How is this possible? How can a human's physical strength surpass an ancestral beast? He Fingu's eyes widened as he felt a severe numbness in his arms. He lost his composure and cried out, "You're surprised just like that? A frog at the bottom of a well is a frog at the bottom of a well. As expected, you're nothing." Yi Chen-fong smiled faintly and continued to attack him with shocking momentum. The terrifying physical strength instantly suppressed his attacks and forced him to retreat. Chapter 1662. Good. Today, I will let you know who is the frog at the bottom of the well. Black Wind Valley was completely enraged by Yi Chen-feng's words. He used his most powerful trump card and instantly raised his strength to the peak of six-star Demon Lord Realm. Then, ignoring the injury on his arm, he held the heavy sword on his back and continuously used the inherited divine ability of the Black Demon race. He launched a fierce counterattack at Yi Chen-fong. True Spirit Fighting Dragon Fist. Black Wind Valley attacked fiercely. Yi Chen-fong was like an invincible god of war, standing in the air. He blasted out a series of powerful True Spirit Fighting Dragon Fists to meet Black Wind Valley's attack head-on. He continuously shattered Black Wind Valley's killer moves and forced him to retreat. Black Demon Lotus. unable to resist Yi Qinfeng's true spirit fighting dragon fist. Black Wind Valley stimulated the strongest power of his Tao core. He split out numerous black lotus flowers and surrounded Yi Qinfeng. Explode! With a thought, Black Wind Valley's dozen black lotus flowers surrounding Yi Qinfeng suddenly exploded. The terrifying power formed a shocking destructive force that instantly engulfed him. Go to hell! Black Wind Valley's entire body instantly fused with the half-transcendent sacred artifact, grade heavy sword, and slashed at Yi Qinfeng. He wanted to take advantage of the moment when Yi Qinfeng was engulfed by the destructive force to heavily injure him and send him out of the Sage of Battle's realm. Buzz! The moment Black Wind Valley's half-transcendent sacred sword stabbed at Yi Qinfeng, he suddenly felt a powerful repulsive force transmitted from the half-transcendent sacred sword into his arms, causing his arms to go numb. AI, your attack power is a bit too weak. Yi Qinfeng held the demon sealing sword and easily blocked his attack. The destructive force produced by the black demon lotus self-destruction also didn't cause any harm to him. It's too early to say who will emerge victorious. I will let you see my final trump card. As he spoke, Black Fingu suddenly slapped his beast-controlling pouch and summoned a human-faced spider that was the size of a millstone, completely dark violet in color, and had 8 thin legs that were like spears. It was a mid-level ancestral beast. Human-faced spider, I didn't expect a trash like you to be able to tame such a demonic beast. Back then, in the misty secret realm, Yi Qinfeng had encountered the human-faced spider and experienced how terrifying it was. But now he was no longer the same as before. The human-faced spider was no longer a threat to him. Ghostface, kill him! Black Wind Valley issued a kill order to the human-faced spider, ordering it to attack Yi Qinfeng. Hiss, hiss, hiss! Upon receiving Yi Qinfeng's order, the human-faced spider's sharp, thin legs suddenly exerted force. It leaped high into the air and spat out a highly toxic spider silk, attacking Yi Qinfeng in an attempt to entangle him. True sacred fire melt. A large amount of highly toxic spider silk attacked. Yi Qinfeng's body immediately ignited with 2 true sacred fires, enveloping his body and instantly melting the large amount of spider silk. 2 true sacred fires. Seeing the 2 true sacred fires of different forms gushing out of Yi Qinfeng's body, Black Wind Valley's eyes widened and his heart was even more shocked. True sacred fires were extremely rare in the heaven domain. Subduing them was even harder than ascending to the heavens. But Yi Qinfeng had subdued 2 true sacred fires. This made him feel even more terrified of Yi Qinfeng. Heaven rank sword soul. Slash! When the 2 true sacred fires melted the large amount of spider silk, the heaven rank sword soul flew out of Yi Qinfeng's sea of soul. It turned into an extremely powerful white sword light in the void and slashed at the human-faced spider, forcibly forcing it to retreat. So it's you! Seeing Yi Qinfeng summon the heaven rank sword soul, Black Wind Valley immediately thought of a person that Black Wild Blade had mentioned and guessed Yi Qinfeng's identity. Demon Sealing Sword. Slash! Yi Qinfeng flew into the air with a shocking sword aura. The 4 heaven rank Tao diagrams fused into the Demon Sealing Sword, stimulating the Demon Sealing Sword's power. Misty Tao Sword. With a slash of the sword, a terrifying crack appeared in the chaotic space. The invincible sword light evolved into a great Tao of heaven and earth. With a frightening destructive power, it ruthlessly slashed at the human-faced spider's body. TSK. After being attacked by Yi Qinfeng's Misty Tao sword, a deep sword wound immediately appeared on the human-faced spider's body. Large amounts of blood and venom spewed out like a fountain. Black Demonic Gale Sword. Seeing that the human-faced spider was severely injured, Black Wind Valley immediately used a powerful true Spirit Saint skill to attack Yi Qinfeng. When he deduced his own Tao insight to the extreme, His entire body transformed into a terrifying black wind that swept through the heavens and the earth. The black wind was filled with a large number of sword inscriptions. Once one was trapped in the black wind, they would be instantly minced into pieces by the tens of thousands of sword inscriptions. 9-layered black tower, suppress. With a thought, Yi Qinfeng's low-grade, transcendent saint artifact, 9-layered black tower, broke out of his body and floated in the air. It released a 9-layered suppression power that distorted the space within a few miles and ruthlessly suppressed Black Wind Valley's black, demonic gale sword. Boom! After receiving the attack of the 9-layered black pagoda, the black, demonic gale sword that Black Fingu had transformed into trembled violently. The terrifying power ruthlessly bombarded Black Fingu's body, directly suppressing him from midair to the ground. White Ox Seal. After being suppressed by the 9-layered black tower, Black Wind Valley immediately summoned the White Ox Seal that was cracked by the Chaos Divine Wood. He controlled the White Ox Seal to attack the 9-layered black tower and weaken its suppression. At this moment, Yi Qinfeng continued to attack the human-faced spider with the demon sealing sword in his hand. The ferocious attacks were each stronger than the previous, constantly injuring the human-faced spider and forcing it to retreat. Purple lightning, extinguish. Yi Qinfeng became one with the weapon and turned into a huge sword. When he slashed the human-faced spider from the air to the ground, he summoned the purple lightning and poured all the golden Tao energy in his body into the purple lightning. He then blasted a palm at the heavily injured human-faced spider. Ka ka ka! Tens of thousands of purple lightning streaked across the sky with terrifying destructive power. It bombarded the human-faced spider's bloody body, shattering its flesh and cutting off its vitality. After that attack, Yi Qinfeng relied on the primordial blood's boundless Tao energy to continue controlling the purple lightning to attack. After 2 attacks, the human-faced spider's huge body was pierced through by the purple lightning. More than half of its body was severely damaged. It looked like it would not survive. Human brat, you dare to kill my contract beast. My black demon race will not rest until you die. Looking at the human-faced spider that was on the verge of death, Black Wind Valley, who was using the White Ox Seal to resist the 9-layered black tower, let out an angry roar. This human-faced spider had followed him for countless years. It was his biggest trump card. If the human-faced spider was killed, it would cause him an immeasurable loss. Black demon race is nothing. Yi Qinfeng was unmoved. He controlled the purple lightning to attack for the 3rd time. It shot out tens of thousands of purple lightning and bombarded the human-faced spider's head. It directly shattered its head and killed it. After killing the human-faced spider, Yi Qinfeng attacked Black Wind Valley, who had just escaped the 9-layered black tower suppression, with the demon sealing sword in his hand. He continued to attack him fiercely. At this moment, Black Wind Valley had used up all his trump cards and was powerless to reverse the situation. As his injuries worsened, he was unable to withstand Yi Qinfeng's ferocious attacks at all. He was sent flying by Yi Qinfeng's sword. The identity medallion on his body shattered. He was unwillingly sent out of the realm of 100 battles by the medallion, humiliated and disqualified from the competition. It's over 100. After destroying Black Wind Valley's identity token, Yi Qinfeng found that the number on his identity token had exceeded 100 and reached 108. He smiled faintly. Chaos Divine Wood, keep. With a thought, Yi Qinfeng stored the Chaos Divine Wood, which had begun to evolve after devouring the ancient Withering Wood. He quickly left the heavily damaged valley and continued to search for his target. Chapter 16, 63. Day after day passed by, and intense battles were occurring in every corner of the Saint of Battle's domain. On the other hand, there were 4 jade discs that were over 100 m tall, floating in the sky in the east, west, south, and north of 100 Battle City. The names of the top 100 genius disciples in the Saint of Battle's domain were displayed on the jade discs. Yi Qinfeng. Who exactly is this fellow? He's actually ranked in the top 10. I've never heard of him. When Yi Qianfeng heavily injured Blackwind Gorge and slashed him out of the Saint of Battle's domain, his ranking had soared through the jade discs and surpassed over 100 people to directly charge into the top 10, and it caused a mighty uproar in 100 Battle City. Yi Qianfeng. It wouldn't be him, right? A man in a dark blue robe, his long hair hung loosely on his shoulders, and his cold face revealed a trace of surprise as he muttered to himself. Young master, Yi isn't simple at all. Perhaps it really might be him. He's here to take revenge. Beside him, a burly man in a fiery red martial arts suit said in a low voice. He was exuding a fiery aura. These two people were Ming Shifeng and the Fire Qilin, who'd been sent to the outer world battlefield by the Lord of the Dark North. After fusing with the Lord of the Dark North's trump cards and experiencing the tempering of the outer world battlefield, their strengths had improved greatly. Ming Shifeng hadn't just recovered from his injuries. He'd even charged into the 3rd star Tao Lord realm in one go, whereas the Fire Qilin had even transformed into a low-rank ancestral beast. I hope so. If it really is him, then perhaps he'll be able to help Junior's sister. Ming Shifeng took a deep breath as he'd been constantly worried about the safety of the spirit fish. In next to no time, half a year had passed. During this half a year, Yi Qianfeng held the rhino jade pendant in his hand and ceaselessly searched for Xia Wendy. However, the Saint of Battle's domain was too huge, so he was unable to sense Xia Wendy through the rhino jade pendant. Right when Yi Qianfeng was bitterly searching for Xia Wendy had been blocked off by the experts of the Azure Sky clan in a beautiful gorge. Little beauty, obediently hand over the holy fruit you plucked, and let us have some fun. Maybe we'll let you go if we're in a good mood. A 3-star Taoist master of the Green Sky clan, who was wearing a dark blue martial arts suit and had a sharp face and burning eyes, held a long spear in his hand. He stared straight at Xia Wendy's beautiful face and sexy tall body with evil intentions. You're courting death. Xia Wendy looked at the 6 warriors of the Qintian clan with disgust. She merged the true spirit blood bead and the star and moon bead in an instant, increasing her power to the extreme. She held the Phoenix Dance Blade, a supreme grade, true spirit saint weapon, and the white bell floating in the air, attacking the 6 warriors of the Qintian clan. White bell. Why is the treasure of 9 Clarity Mountain Town, the white bell, in your hands? The white bell was very famous in the Heaven Domain. Seeing Xia Wendy summon the white bell, many people recognized the origin of this supreme treasure and were shocked. Buzz, buzz, buzz. As they were still in shock, Xia Rune Butterfly summoned 3 Heaven Step Tao diagrams and fused them into the white bell. Immediately, an awe-inspiring ringing sound filled the air, rumbling into their spiritual seas. Slash through the cloud. When the brains of the 6 blue sky race warriors were suddenly attacked by the white bell, their reactions slowed down. Xia Wendy jumped up high, and an ear-piercing sound of a bird came out of the Phoenix Dance Saber. 9 vivid and lifelike shadows of phoenixes broke out of the Phoenix Dance Saber and turned into 9 saber shadows, slashing toward the 6 people. Sensing the danger, the 6 powerful warriors of the Qintian clan came back to their senses and tried their best to defend. However, Xia Wendy's power was also horrifying. The slash through the cloud tore their defense apart and damaged their bodies. In the blink of an eye, the identity tokens of the 3 major warriors of the Qintian clan were broken by the slash through the cloud. They were sent out of the realm of 100 battles and eliminated. After shattering 3 identity tags with 1 attack, Xia Wendy followed up with another attack. She controlled the white bell to descend from the sky, bringing with it a terrifying power as it smashed into the remaining 3 Cyan Sky race master level experts, forcing them back step by step. Damn it. When we catch you, we'll take off all your clothes and show you how powerful we are. The sharp-faced man didn't expect Xia Wendy's power to be so horrifying that she could injure 3 of his companions instantly. He was furious and kept performing his trump cards to resist the White Bell's attack. He fought fiercely with Xia Wendy. When the sharp-faced man burned his Taoist core at all costs and performed his most powerful killing move to resist the White Bell's fatal attack, his 2 companions approached Xia Wendy tacitly. They held their true spirit saint treasures and attacked her fiercely from both sides. Xia Wendy didn't dodge the sudden attack of the 2 powerful warriors of the Qintian clan. Instead, she continued to infuse her powerful Taoist intent into the White Bell to trigger its attack and counterattack. Boom! The 2's killing moves landed on Xia Wendy's body one after another. However, the next moment they were dumbfounded. They saw a set of armor giving out dark golden light appear on Xia Wendy's body. It covered her whole body and dissolved their attacks easily. Boom! While they were still in shock, the White Bell descended and ruthlessly slammed into the body of a person. The terrifying power directly shattered the person's defense, breaking his identity medallion and sending him out of the 100 Battles sacred realm. It's your turn now. Xia Wendy was like an invincible goddess of war. She held the phoenix dance saber and attacked fiercely. Many phoenix shadows flew out and evolved into the terrifying power of the Great Tao. She attacked the Azure Sky clan's expert, who was frightened and tried his best to retreat. Before the sharp-faced man, who was the strongest among them, could come to his rescue, he broke through his body's defense and slashed at his head. Bang! A crack appeared on his head, and the identity badge on his body was also broken at this moment. If the identity badge hadn't sent him out of the realm of 100 Battles in time, Xia Wendy's attack would have cut him in half and killed him on the spot. Okay. I admit defeat this time, but wait and see. The Qintian clan will definitely get even with you. The sharp-faced man didn't expect Xia Wendy's combat power to be so horrifying. He didn't dare to resist anymore. He wanted to leave this place as soon as possible. Want to leave? It's too late. Xia Wendy said with murderous intent. The heavenly star diagram evolved into thousands of stars and fell from the void, blocking his way out. The next moment, Xia Wendy held her Fengwu saber and hit the White Bell fiercely. It formed an overwhelming sound wave that bombarded his soul and weakened his attack. Boundless Great Way. His path of retreat was sealed off by the heavenly star Tao diagram. His soul had suffered a heavy injury, and blood flowed from his 7 apertures. He executed the strongest attack he possessed, and the Tao insight in his entire body transformed into a boundless grand Tao that was like a terrifying roaming dragon as it blasted towards Xia Wendy. White Bell break. The horrifying, boundless Great Way attacked. Xia Wendy immediately controlled the White Bell to meet it. She resisted the attack of the boundless Great Way with its destructive power. Sky escape. Seizing this opportunity, the sharp-faced man ignored the damage to his body and used his trump card to escape. He forcefully passed through the space sealed by the heavenly star diagram. Seeing him forcefully break through the blockade of the heavenly star Tao diagram, Xia Wendy raised all her strength and Tao intent to the limit. She forcefully threw out the phoenix dance blade in her hand, which transformed into a lifelike, true phoenix that slashed towards him. No. Following that, the thin-faced man let out a scream of terror. The identity medallion on his body was shattered by the phoenix dance saber. He unwillingly glanced at Xia Wendy and was sent out of the realm of 100 Battles by the broken medallion. He was eliminated. Chapter 1664. Amazing, really amazing. I didn't expect you to be so strong. You really opened my eyes. When Xia Wendy killed the 6 almighty beings of the Qing sky race, a crisp slap sound was heard. A tall and straight man wearing a white martial arts suit appeared. He had a delicate and handsome face with a hint of heroic spirit. His eyes were deep and powerful, as if he could see through thousands of miles. Looking at the white-robed man who had suddenly appeared, Xia Wendy's pupils shrank. She felt an intense aura of danger from him. Without even thinking, she turned around and prepared to leave. "Wait, miss. I don't have any evil intentions. I just want to be friends with you." Seeing that Xia Wendy wanted to leave, Tian Wufa took a step forward and crossed thousands of meters in an instant, blocking her way. "What, you want to avenge them?" Xia Wendy controlled the white bell to float above her head. She held the phoenix dance blade and looked at Tian Wufa vigilantly. "I said, I don't have any evil intentions." Tian Wufa shook his head. Looking at Xia Wendy's hostile eyes, he showed a handsome smile and said, "What, you don't believe me? Since you don't have any evil intentions, don't stop me from leaving." Xia Wendy felt more and more afraid of Tian Wufa. She had a feeling that even if she used all her treasures, she wouldn't be able to fight him. Leaving quickly was the only choice. "Ah, it seems like you still don't believe me." Tian Wufa smiled and said sincerely, "But I did fall in love with you at first sight. Don't keep me at arm's length. Otherwise, I'll be very sad." "I'm sorry, I already have a husband." Xia Wendy looked at Tian Wufa, who kept blocking her way. She kept thinking of ways to escape. "It doesn't matter. This doesn't affect my liking you," Tian Wufa said. "Oh, right, I still don't know your name. I wonder if you're interested in traveling with me? If you want to travel with me, that's fine. But I have two conditions." Xia Wendy felt that she couldn't get rid of Tian Wufa. She had to change her strategy and said, "First, you can't hurt me. Second, you have to block my blade attack. Let me see your strength." "Of course," Tian Wufa said confidently. "I'll stand right here. If you can force me back a step, I'll leave immediately. I won't bother you anymore." "Good." Xia Wendy took a deep breath and said, "Pay attention." After saying that, Xia Wendy used all of her trump cards and raised her battle prowess to the limit. In the next moment, her graceful body merged with the phoenix dance saber, transforming into a lifelike phoenix that soared in the sky. Boundless, will of the way, slashed at Tian Wufa. Good strength. Facing Xia Wendy's saber attack, Tian Wufa let out a wild roar. A powerful sound wave erupted from his mouth, shattering Xia Wendy's saber attack and causing Xia Wendy's soul to tremble. She was unable to use this opportunity to escape. "Now that I've blocked Miss' attack, can Miss agree to travel with me?" Tian Wufa said with a proud smile after shattering Xia Dai's attack. "Why do you insist on pestering me? With your strength, there should be no lack of women around you, right?" After seeing Tian Wufa's strength, Xia Wendy's heart sank. She didn't dare to provoke him and could only think of other ways to escape. "Miss, you're different from those women, not to mention your born Taoism aptitude. Your beauty is unparalleled. I fell in love with you at first sight," Tian Wufa said with a faint smile, not stingy with his praise. "Remember our agreement. If you dare to hurt me, I'll shatter your identity token." Xia Wendy warned coldly. She moved her slender legs and walked out of the valley. What an enchanting girl! Looking at Xia Wendy's slender, flawless legs and voluptuous body, the smile on Tian Wufa's face grew wider. With a light tap of his foot, he instantly crossed hundreds of meters and appeared beside Xia Wendy, walking side by side with her. "Miss, I still don't know your name." "My surname is Gu Gunainai," Xia Wendy said coldly, rolling her eyes at the pestering Tian Wufa. "It seems that Miss has deep enmity towards me," Tian Wufa smiled and said, "but I believe that it won't be long before Miss changes her opinion of me." "Perhaps," Xia Wendy said in a neutral tone. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. They hadn't gone far when an ear-piercing sound rang out. An unruly man wearing a dark blue robe, tall and straight like a pine tree, wielding a sharp spear, jet-black long hair casually draped over his shoulders, suddenly broke through an ancient tree, thrusting toward Xia Wendy and Xia Wendy at an extremely fast speed. Xia Wendy's expression changed as she was suddenly attacked by the blue-robed man's sharp spear. Without hesitation, she summoned her white bell to defend herself. But Tian Wufa's reaction was even faster. He took a step forward, and mysterious heavenly runes appeared under his feet, forming an invincible heavenly sword that slashed out. Pfff! The blue-robed man's spear was shattered. The invincible heavenly sword carried a heaven-shaking sword aura and directly sent the blue-robed man flying, smashing into several ancient trees. Who are you? The blue-robed man was a 5-star demon lord. He rarely had an opponent in the Sage of 100 Battles. After experiencing the terror of Tian Wufa, he knew that he had kicked an iron plate. Someone like you is not worthy of knowing who I am, Tian Wufa arrogantly said. He took another step forward, and mysterious sword runes appeared under his feet as he attacked the blue-robed man. Seeing how terrifying Tian Wufa was, the blue-robed man continued to use one defensive trump card after another. However, Tian Wuma's attacks were too terrifying. The terrifying sword pattern destroyed his defensive trump cards, like breaking through dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. Once again he was sent flying. Numerous sword wounds appeared on his body, and a large amount of blood spurted out. If you can block one more kick of mine, I'll let you go. Tian Wufa placed his hands behind his back and walked step by step toward the blue-robed man, who had fallen to the ground and was bleeding profusely. Good, come. The blue-robed man knew that escaping was impossible. He quickly combusted his powerful Dao core to suppress his injuries and transformed into his strongest combat form, preparing to face Tian Wufa's attack head-on. Kacha! Tian Wufa stepped forward, and the ground beneath his feet instantly cracked. Terrifying sword runes directly cut through space, like a whale breaking through the waves, bombarding the blue-robed man. Break for father! Tian Wufa stepped on the sword runes and attacked. The blue-robed man did not blindly defend. Instead, he raised his attack to the peak and stabbed out with his spear, piercing the whale formed by the sword runes. Ka! When he forcefully broke through the sword patterns, the whale that was riding the wind and breaking the waves shattered, transforming into countless sword shadows that instantly engulfed the blue-robed man. The terrifying attack directly shattered his identity medallion, blasting him out of the realm of 100 Battles. Xia Wendy coldly glanced at Tian Wufa, who had displayed his divine might and defeated the blue-robed man with 3 kicks. Her face was expressionless as she continued to walk away. I don't believe that I can't conquer you. Although Xia Wendy was neither happy nor sad, Tian Wufa's interest in her increased. He did not believe that he could conquer Xia Wendy with his methods. Chapter 1665. Time flew by, and soon 3 months had passed. During these 3 months, Xia Wendy had been unable to escape Tian Wufa, but he had not harmed her. Hold on, there's something in the valley up ahead. Suddenly, Tian Wufa's eyes lit up as he called out to Xia Wendy, who was at the front of the group. Let's go and take a look. Xia Wendy was looking forward to encountering some great danger that could trap Tian Wufa. That way, she would be able to escape him. Buzz, buzz, buzz! The two of them had just entered a valley filled with strange rocks and very little vegetation when a large amount of golden light burst out from the depths of the valley, dyeing the sky golden. Following this, the sounds of intense fighting came from the depths of the valley, causing space to distort and the ground to tremble. Just who is fighting in the valley? Xia Wendy grimaced as she sensed the terrifying energy surging out of the valley. It should be 2 6-star lords fighting over a treasure in the depths of the valley, Tian Wufa calmly said with a faint smile. Forget it. Let's leave this place. It's too dangerous to fight over a treasure with them. Xia Wendy feigned weakness. What are you afraid of? With me here, who can harm you? Tian Wufa proudly said. Let's go and take a look. If the treasure in the valley is really precious, I'll give it to you as a gift. As he spoke, Tian Wufa reached out to grab Xia Wendy, wanting to grab her soft hand. However, Xia Wendy had long since been on guard and dodged to the side, preventing Tian Wufa from succeeding. Tian Wufa was not angry, but his resolve to conquer Xia Wendy grew even stronger. When they arrived at the end of the valley, Tian Wufa and Tian Wufa saw two men with terrifying auras fighting in the void. Because they were both six-star lords, they created a great deal of destruction. The end of the valley had been destroyed beyond recognition. However, at the end of the heavily damaged valley, there was a pure land shrouded in white light that was unaffected. In this pure land was a strange flower that was 1/2 meter tall. Its petals were of 5 different colors, and the center of the flower seemed to evolve the great Tao. The Daimization flower. Heaven couldn't immediately recognize this strange flower. It was the Daimization flower recorded in ancient texts that could manifest the great Tao. It was infused with heaven-level Tao intent, and its value was comparable to that of a transcendent divine artifact. I didn't expect a Daimization flower to grow here. Tian Wufa smiled faintly and said, "Fresh flowers go with beautiful women. This Tao-melting flower is a perfect match for your born Taoism aptitude. Wait here, I'll go get it for you." Even though the two fighting in the void were extremely powerful, Tian Wufa didn't put them in his eyes. He turned into a sword shadow and flew towards the Tao transformation flower shrouded in the white light of the Pure Land. "You are courting death." The two of them did not expect that an outsider would barge in to steal the Daimization flower. With a roar, they gave up on attacking each other and attacked Tian Wufa with thunderous momentum. A motley crew! Tian Wufa didn't want to show off his power in front of Xia Wendy. His hands moved rapidly, forming a millstone-sized hand seal that distorted space and shot toward the two of them. Boom! The attacks of the two six-star lords collided with Tian Wufa's hand seal, exploding with earth-shattering destructive power. Swish, swish. As the three terrifying forces clashed in the void, two sharp weapon lights tore through the destructive storm and attacked Tian Wufa with shocking speed. Spatial isolation. Tian Wufa gently waved his arm. A deep fissure appeared in the space before him. Terrifying spatial power surged out of the fissure, neutralizing the attacks of the two. Lion head mirror, break! The muscular man in a black robe summoned a bronze mirror embedded in a lion's head. It reflected a hazy yellow light toward Tian Wufa. The white-robed man with a long spear shot out a pair of pearls of fire and water. They turned into a Tao wheel that descended from the sky. "Humph, you won't hurt me with just half a transcendent divine artifact." Tian Wufa snorted. An 8 trigrams plate with the will of heaven and earth appeared around him. It turned into a mysterious 8 trigrams formation above his head and blocked the attacks of the two halves. Then Tian Wufa's body surged with terrifying will of heaven and earth, pouring into the 8 trigrams plate. It changed the 8 trigrams array, forming a large number of offensive arrays that bombarded the two of them, crushing their attacks as easily as breaking rotten wood. 8 trigrams plate, you're Tian Wufa from the Divine Sky Clan. Although the two didn't know Tian Wufa, they recognized the famous 8 trigrams plate in the alien battlefield. 1,000 years ago, Tian Wufa used it to destroy a human holy ground in the alien battlefield. He even used the plate to destroy the foundation of that holy ground, turning it into a wasteland. "Yes, it's me," Tian Wufa proudly declared. "The Daimization flower is mine. Do you have any objections?" "We found it first. We can't just give it away." Although Tian Wufa was powerful and came from the strongest clan in the Void God realm, the Daimization flower was too attractive. They couldn't give it up and decided to take the risk. "If that's the case, then come at me together. If I can't defeat you in 10 moves, the Daimization flower will be yours," Tian Wufa arrogantly declared. "Then let us experience the abilities of the Divine Sky Clan." With that, The two six-star lords who were fighting a bloody battle decided to work together and use their strongest attacks. They activated the power of their halves and attacked Tian Wufa with all their might. 8 trigrams plate. Reverse the universe. The lion head mirror and the pearls of water and fire attacked again. Tian Wufa controlled his low-grade, transcendent saint treasure, the 8 trigrams plate, to reverse the universe and destroy space. It forced the two halves back. At this moment, the attacks of the two six-star lords came one after another. They were like 2 bolts of lightning that tore through the sky and bombarded Tian Wufa's body. Humph! Tian Wufa snorted coldly. A heaven-grade Tao disc of swords appeared in his body. Endless sword will pour out from the disc, breaking through the attacks of the two of them. It swept through the void and attacked the two of them. Although they were fighting 1 against 2, Tian Wufa was far stronger than them. Coupled with the terrifying might of the 8 trigrams plate, the two of them were soon unable to withstand Tian Wufa's ferocious attacks. Their injuries began to worsen. Buzz, buzz! Just as the 3 of them were getting fiercer and fiercer, and Xia Wendy was about to use this chance to leave, she suddenly felt the rhino jade pendant at her waist vibrate. Cheng Feng has finally found me. Xia Wendy's beautiful eyes shone with an enchanting light, and her suspended heart couldn't help but relax. Although Tian Wufa was terrifyingly strong, he had blind faith in Yi Qinfeng. He believed that Yi Qinfeng was completely capable of defeating Tian Wufa. Through the rhino jade pendant, Xia Wendy told Yi Qinfeng her location. She suppressed the excitement in her heart and waited in silence for Yi Qinfeng to arrive. 9 moves. If you can block 1 more, I'll give you this daemization flower, Tian Wufa roared. He deduced the Tao intent he cultivated to the extreme and used the legacy ability of the Divine Sky Race. Divine 100 Battle Soldiers. The rapidly deduced Tao insights instantly transformed into various forms of divine weapons, carrying a despair-inducing murderous aura as they blasted towards the two of them. Bang! 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 A series of cracking sounds rang out. The defensive trump cards that the two of them had been using were shattered. They were sent flying by the Divine 100 Battle Soldiers and sent out of the battle's sacred realm by their shattered identity medallions. They had been miserably eliminated. Chapter 1666. Collect. After defeating the two, Tian Wufa reached out with his hand. A terrifying Tao intent transformed into a gigantic hand that blotted out the sky. It released a terrifying Tao intent and directly crushed the defensive white light protecting the daemization flower. The precious daemization flower was now in his hand. Flowers are for beauties. Miss, this daemization flower is for you. Do you like it? Tian Wufa handed the daemization flower to Xia Wendy and said, while looking at her beautiful face, "Thank you, but there's no need." Although the daemization flower was extremely important to Xia Wendy, she didn't accept Tian Wufa's gift and directly rejected it. "Miss, you have a connate Tao body, and this daemization flower contains a heaven-level Tao intent. It is extremely useful to you. If you refine it, it will definitely strengthen your connate Tao body and increase your strength." Tian Wufa softly said, "Matzi, he is right. This daemization flower is indeed useful to you." Suddenly, a blurry figure appeared beside Xia Wendy and snatched the daemization flower from Tian Wufa's hand. "Who are you?" Tian Wufa's expression instantly turned gloomy when he saw Yi Qinfeng's sudden appearance. His deep eyes flickered with a cold light as he whispered, "Her husband." Yi Qinfeng stuffed the daemization flower into Xia Wendy's soft hands and gently pulled her into his embrace. "Humph, weaklings are not worthy of her. If you don't want to die, then scram as far as you can. Otherwise, I don't mind breaking your neck." Seeing the woman he liked being hugged by another man, Tian Wufa's heart burned with a raging flame as he glared at Yi Qinfeng. "Let's go, Matzi. Let's ignore this boring person." Although Yi Qinfeng felt a dangerous aura from Tian Wufa, he was not afraid. He gently hugged Xia Wendy's soft body and prepared to leave. "You are courting death." The arrogant Tian Wufa saw Yi Qinfeng ignoring him. A thick, murderous aura emitted from his body without reservation. With a palm strike, the air immediately shattered. A terrifying palm strike aimed at Yi Qinfeng's back in an attempt to shatter his bones. Whoosh! Sword light flashed beneath Yi Qinfeng's feet. He grabbed Xia Wendy and disappeared, dodging Tian Wufa's palm attack. Time precepts. Feeling Yi Qinfeng dodge, the flow of space suddenly accelerated. Tian Wufa raised his eyebrows. He was surprised that Yi Qinfeng had comprehended the mysterious laws of time. "I didn't expect you to not be a piece of trash." Tian Wufa's eyes shone with a cruel light. "But she is the woman I want. No one can take her away." "If that's the case, then let me get rid of this annoying fly." Yi Qinfeng replied in an overbearing manner. "Matzi, wait for me in the cosmic realm." With that said, Yi Qinfeng sent Xia Wendy back into the universe realm with a thought. He then summoned the universe sword formation, which revolved around him. "It's good that she's not here. That way, I can torture you without restraint." The instant Xia Wendy entered the universe realm, Tian Wufa's killing intent surged out without reservation. It condensed into a terrifying sword qi that slashed towards Yi Qinfeng. However, before this sword qi could reach Yi Qinfeng, it was scattered by the physical strength within his body. It didn't injure him at all. Whoosh! The instant Yi Qinfeng shattered the sword qi, Tian Wufa mysteriously disappeared before him. He appeared behind him as though he had teleported, and an extremely sharp sword qi slashed towards him. Universe, sword formation, break. Although Tian Wufa's movement speed was fast, the God-Eater brain had long since captured his movements. With a thought from Yi Qinfeng, the cosmos sword formation spun rapidly, directly breaking through the interweaving sword shadows. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng fused with the divine blood pearl and chaos pearl, and his strength instantly improved to the 5-star Downlord realm. He summoned the colossal spirit sword, and then he turned around and slashed with a peerlessly domineering sword strike that slashed down towards Tian Wufa at close range. Humph! Yi Qinfeng's attack was extremely powerful, and a deep sword mark appeared in space. However, Tian Wufa didn't dodge. He quickly summoned the 8 trigrams disc to block the colossal spirit sword. Thump! Thump! In a head-on collision, Yi Qinfeng suffered a small loss. He was pushed back 3 steps by the energy surging out from the 8 trigrams disc, and he left 3 deep footprints on the hard ground. 8 trigrams disc reversed the universe. Tian Wufa swiftly deduced Tao insights and madly fused them into the 8 trigrams disc. He controlled the 8 trigrams disc to form an enormous 8 trigrams formation that shot out rays of killing intent towards Yi Qinfeng. Primordial bloodline. 2 sacred true soul flames ignite. Yi Qinfeng didn't dare be careless when he sensed how terrifying the 8 trigrams disc was. He swiftly raised his strength to its peak and summoned violet lightning to attack. Yi Qinfeng blasted out with a palm, and violet lightning appeared in the air. It carried astonishing destructive power as it blasted apart the rays of killing intent. However, the 8 trigrams disc was a low-grade, transcendent saint artifact, and Tian Wufa was stronger than Yi Qinfeng. Under the surging power of the 8 trigrams disc, Yi Qinfeng's violet lightning was unable to break through the 8 trigrams disc. 9-fold black pagoda. The violet lightning was suppressed by the 8 trigrams disc, and Yi Qinfeng immediately summoned the 9-fold black pagoda. He controlled the black pagoda to grow larger and larger, shattering the rays of killing intent as they smashed into the 8 trigrams disc. Bang! When the 2 transcendent holy treasures collided with each other, an earth-shattering explosion erupted. A large amount of dazzling white light filled the broken space, making people unable to open their eyes. Swish, swish. As the two transcendent saint artifacts clashed, Yi Qinfeng and Tian Wufa simultaneously attacked each other. When their fists collided, the power of nearly 100 million pounds exploded from Yi Qinfeng's fist, shattering the will of the Wei in Tian Wufa's fist and forcing him to take a step back. After being forced back by Yi Qinfeng's fist, Tian Wufa was both shocked and enraged. With a thought, he summoned his low-grade transcendent saint artifact, the extreme light sword, and stabbed it at Yi Qinfeng, forcing Yi Qinfeng to dodge with all his strength. I didn't think that you'd be hiding your strength so deeply, but no matter how powerful you are, it's useless. You are destined to be the loser. After forcing Yi Qinfeng back with one sword strike, Tian Wufa's eyes shone with boundless light. He took a step forward, and as if he had teleported, he appeared next to Yi Qinfeng. Countless sword shadows interweaved and enveloped Yi Qinfeng. Qiankuin sword formation. Qiankuin strike break. The sword shadow tore through space and attacked. Yi Qinfeng immediately controlled the cosmos sword matrix floating above his head to fuse together, turning into an invincible giant sword. Profound will of Wei intertwined with each other, and it resisted the attack head-on. Boom, boom, boom. Deafening explosions continued to resound in the void. The two of them were still evenly matched, neither able to do anything to the other. Ether's secret art, boundless great Tao. As Tian Wufa rapidly deduced the great Tao, Yi Qinfeng's body fused with the 4 Tao diagrams, transforming into a boundless great Tao that surged like a river toward Tian Wufa. How do you know Ether's secret art? After forcefully breaking through Yi Qinfeng's boundless great Tao, Tian Wufa's face darkened as he coldly questioned, "You talk too much nonsense." Yi Qinfeng ignored him and slashed at him with the giant spirit sword. Tian Wufa waved his arm, forcibly blocking the giant spirit sword. At the same time, a blinding white light shot out of Yi Qinfeng's sea of soul. The heaven-grade sword soul flew out and slashed at Tian Wufa from close range. Bang! Caught off guard, Tian Wufa was forced back by the heaven-grade sword soul. A deep sword wound was left on his arm, and blood gushed out. "Human brat, you've infuriated me." Having his arm wounded by the heaven-grade sword soul completely enraged Tian Wufa. He roared furiously and stimulated the mysterious power in his body, causing his strength to soar. In an instant, he surpassed the limit of a 6-star celestial lord and touched upon the 1-star celestial god realm, posing a fatal threat to Yi Qinfeng. Chapter 1667. A 1-star celestial god. When he sensed Heaven Wufa's transformed strength, Yi Qinfeng couldn't help but reveal a grave expression. He was completely capable of defeating a peak 6-star Tao Lord, but the difference in strength between a god and a god was simply too great. If he wanted to defeat Heaven Wufa, he would need to borrow the power of Mo Ling. It's over. Celestial gods, 100 warriors. Now that he was a 1-star celestial god, Heaven Wufa gripped the low-quality heaven-piercing divine sword and used his strongest move to attack Yi Qinfeng. As he swung his sword, a terrifying Tao intent manifested into all sorts of weapons that sought to obliterate Yi Qinfeng's body. Spatial 100-layers seal. Yi Qinfeng took a small step back as he used all his strength to derive the laws of space. In an instant, the 100 layers of seals formed in front of him to block Heaven Wufa's celestial gods, 100 warriors. Crack, 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 crack. The powerful attacks of the 100 warriors caused the 100 layers of seals in front of Yi Qinfeng to shatter. As for Yi Qinfeng, he used the 100 layers spatial restriction to block the attack and flew into the air, dodging Yi Qinfeng's killing move. Spatial dimension. Yi Qinfeng's body continued to flicker with spatial energy, and a massive spatial fissure appeared above his head, transforming into a powerful dimensional decapitator. Like a crescent moon descending from the heavens, it slashed toward Heaven Wufa with astonishing might. Boom! Heaven Wufa swiftly swung his arm, the sword of light in his hand shattering the spatial dimension Yi Qinfeng had summoned as he rapidly approached Yi Qinfeng. 8 trigrams disc seals space. As he got close to Yi Qinfeng, Heaven Wufa immediately made the 8 trigrams disc expand and seal space in an attempt to trap Yi Qinfeng. Godless sword. The moment the 8 trigrams disc sealed space, Yi Qinfeng summoned the demon sealing sword. His body fused with the demon sealing sword, transforming into a pitch-black sword energy that could annihilate all. As the sword stabbed forward, space instantly darkened. Heaven Wufa sensed danger from the terrifying sword intent, and he raised the sword of light to meet the attack. Ka. Heaven Wufa's celestial god 100 battle weapon and Yi Qinfeng's soulless sword fiercely clashed, their terrifying energies constantly tearing apart the fabric of space. True spirit dragon fighting fist. When Yi Qinfeng was unable to attack Tian Wufa, he multitasked. He raised the power of his physical body to the maximum and punched at Tian Wufa, scattering his attack. Just as the fist was about to land on Tian Wufa's body, an incomparably hard black shield appeared in front of him, blocking the attack of the true spirit fighting dragon fist. Following that, a shocking power erupted from his body as he slashed out with his sword once again, slicing through the soulless sword and slashing towards Yi Qinfeng with undiminished power, forcing Yi Qinfeng to dodge. In the instant that Yi Qinfeng dodged, Heaven Wuling suddenly closed in, interweaving several sword images that enveloped Yi Qinfeng and slashed at him. Swish! Yi Qinfeng's body moved, and the flow of time around him suddenly sped up as he narrowly dodged Heaven Lawless' attack. Traceless sword slash. After Yi Qinfeng dodged this attack, Heaven Lawless slashed out one sword light after another, endlessly slashing at Yi Qinfeng. Spatial 100 layers restriction. Facing the traceless sword slash, Yi Qinfeng continued to use the laws of space, forming 100 layers of restrictions in front of him, delaying the attack and dodging the killer move. I want to see how many moves you can dodge. Yi Qinfeng dodged all of his killer moves, completely infuriating Heaven Lawless. He wielded the extreme light sword and controlled the 8 trigrams plate to attack Yi Qinfeng, completely suppressing his attacks. Although his attacks were suppressed, Yi Qinfeng did not panic. Moreover, he intentionally hid the secret of the demon sealing sword. He did not awaken the demon spirit, relying on the boundless Tao energy from the primordial blood to resist Heaven Lawless' ferocious attacks. Time ticked by. Yi Qinfeng and Heaven Lawless fought fiercely in the valley, terrifying destructive energy sweeping through the surroundings and flattening large swaths of the valley. Boom! Heaven Lawless became one with his sword, slashing apart the Qinkuan sword array and viciously slashing at the demon sealing sword that Yi Qinfeng had raised above his head. Terrifying energy slammed into Yi Qinfeng's body, knocking him from the air and smashing a massive crater into the ground. However, Yi Qinfeng's physical body was extremely strong. Without waiting for Heaven Lawless to attack, he flew out of the cave and clenched his teeth, continuing to block Heaven Lawless' ferocious attacks. Although Heaven Lawless was relying on his trump cards to send Yi Qinfeng flying again and again, worsening his injuries as time passed, the energy in his body began to fade. He was barely able to use the power of a 1-star celestial god. And Yi Qinfeng had been waiting for this moment. As long as Heaven Lawless' strength fell back to that of a peak 6-star celestial lord, he was confident that he would have the last laugh. Celestial gods 100 battle soldiers. As his strength continued to decline, Heaven Lawless' attacks grew fiercer and fiercer. He wanted to use this chance to defeat Yi Qinfeng before the power of his trump card ran out. But Yi Qinfeng's tenacity exceeded his expectations. With 100 layers shackles protecting him, his repeated attacks were unable to heavily injure Yi Qinfeng. After another incense stick's worth of time, Heaven Lawless' trump card vanished, and his strength fell back to that of a peak 6-star celestial lord. And the moment his strength fell, Yi Qin-feng ignored his injuries and launched a fierce counterattack. Yi Qin-feng continued to send out purple lightning. Streaks of lightning streaked across the sky and bombarded Tianwufa. As Heaven Lawless used his powerful attacks to shatter the violet bolts of lightning, Yi Qin-feng suddenly got close and slashed down with the demon's sealing sword. Heaven Lawless took in a deep breath, pouring all his Tao energy into the extreme light sword. He used a series of powerful attacks to clash with the god-slaying sword that stole the light of the world. Chaos Divine would break, just as Tianwufa was relying on his immense strength to forcefully block Yi Qinfeng's soulless sword. The primal Chaos Divine would floated out of Yi Qinfeng's body. It flickered with primal Chaos 5 elements light as it lashed out at Tianwufa's chest. After devouring the myriad withering ancient wood, the Chaos Divine would have become even more terrifying, reaching the level of a high-grade, transcendent saint artifact. Boom! The 8 trigrams plate that Heaven Lawless had summoned was sent flying by the 5-colored crown of the Chaos Divine wood. Sensing how terrifying the Chaos Divine wood was, Heaven Lawless instinctively tried to dodge. But at this moment, the 9-layered black pagoda appeared above his head, unleashing the 9-layered pressure that pressed down on his body and slowed his evasion. In the next moment, the swaying 5-colored treetop of the Chaos Divine would lashed out fiercely at his chest, shattering his defenses and sending him flying several thousand meters away. His entire chest was a blur. After suffering this attack, Heaven Lawless had almost lost his ability to fight. He unwillingly glanced at Yi Qin-feng, clenched his teeth, and used Heaven's escape to flee. "Where do you think you're going?" Seeing that Heaven Lawless was fleeing, Yi Qin-feng summoned his sword wings and pursued with all his strength, wanting to eliminate this great enemy. But Heaven Lawless was too fast, and Yi Qin-feng's injuries were too severe. In less than half an incense stick's worth of time, Heaven Lawless was nowhere to be seen, escaping Yi Qin-feng's pursuit. Chapter 1668. After losing track of Tianwufa, Yi Qin-feng immediately controlled the blood to conceal his aura, and then he found a secluded lake amidst the boundless mountains. He entered the lake and entered the universe realm. "Qin-feng, are you all right? What happened to Wufa that day? Did you defeat him?" Xia Wendy's heart tightened when she saw the heavily injured Yi Qin-feng return to the universe realm, and she immediately went forward to ask. "I naturally wouldn't let him off, since he dared to target you." Yi Qin-feng smiled lightly and said with a confident smile, "But I didn't shatter his identity token and allowed him to escape." "I knew you wouldn't disappoint me." Xia Wendy gazed lovingly at Yi Qin-feng, and then she withdrew a pure white handkerchief and gently wiped off the blood on his face and the corner of his mouth. "Matzi, the sacred realm of battles, is too dangerous. Cultivate here, and we'll go look for the spirit fish once our strengths have improved further." Even though he defeated Tianwufa, his strength still shocked Yi Qin-feng to the extreme. In order to deal with the dangers that could appear at any moment, Yi Qin-feng intended to cultivate in the universe realm for a period of time after he found Xia Wendy and cultivated his body to the 2nd level. "All right." Xia Wendy nodded, and then she withdrew the daemization flower she just obtained. She plucked the petals that contained the Grand Tao and swallowed them. She refined the Tao insight within the petals and improved her connate constitution while charging into the 2nd-star Tao Lord realm. While Xia Wendy was cultivating, Yi Qin-feng came to the side of the Vajra sacred tree and spat out his true spirit, sacred flame. He continued to refine the Vajra sacred tree into liquid essence and swallowed it into his stomach to cultivate the 9 transformations. In next to no time, over a year had passed, and the sacred realm of battles had been open for almost 2 years. Yi Qin-feng and Xia Wendy had cultivated for 10 years within the 10 times accelerated flow of time, and they both improved their cultivation and combat strength. After refining the daemization flower, Xia Wendy had broken through to the second star Tao Lord realm, and her born Tao constitution had become even stronger. Although Yi Qinfeng hadn't made a breakthrough, he had refined the adamantine iron sacred tree, causing his physical body to undergo a qualitative transformation. He had cultivated to the second firmament of battle physique, and his physical strength had reached the level of a mid-grade, true spirit saint artifact. His physical strength had exceeded 7 billion. Not long after Yi Qinfeng cultivated his battle physique to the second firmament, he suddenly felt a strong demonic power in his universe realm. He was overjoyed and quickly came to the side of the space-swallowing insect that had completed its qualitative change and evolved into an inferior ancestral beast. Space Swallower, you finally evolved. Yi Qinfeng couldn't help but smile as he looked at the space-swallowing bug that was more than 10 times his size. I can evolve so quickly thanks to the ancestral beast's blood essence that my master found for me. Otherwise, it would take me a long time to evolve again. The Space Swallower opened its mouth full of teeth and said, Space Swallower, since you've evolved, then do me a favor. Let's work together and see if we can open the 4th level of the universe realm. After Yi Qinfeng had broken through to the 3rd star Tao Lord realm, he tried to open the 4th level of the universe realm but failed. However, the Space Swallower's evolution might allow it to pass through the restrictions and help him open the 4th level of the universe realm. If he could open the 4th level of the universe realm and obtain the treasures within it, then Yi Qinfeng felt that he might have a chance to fight a God realm expert. All right, I'll try my best. The Space Swallower nodded, and then it followed Yi Qinfeng to the end of the 3rd level of the universe realm. The 4th level, open. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and summoned the 4 heaven rank Tao diagrams, and then he poured surging golden Tao energy into the powerful spatial restriction and tore it apart with all his might. Space Swallower. The restriction fused with the golden Tao energy that Yi Qinfeng had poured into it, and it trembled violently. The Space Swallower opened its sharp fangs and swallowed the restriction with all its might. The Space Swallower constantly suffered backlash from the restriction as it swallowed it. However, after breaking through to the ancestral beast realm, the Space Swallower had become extremely strong, and it was able to completely endure the backlash from the restriction as it bit through the restriction bit by bit. As expected, the Space Swallower has evolved into an ancestral beast and can bite through the universe realm's restriction. Yi Qinfeng was overjoyed when he noticed that more and more cracks had appeared on the restriction, and a gap had been bitten open by the Space Swallower. He continued to pour his Tao energy into the restriction and forcefully tore open the gap. After around a day, the Space Swallower had bitten open a gap that was around the height of a person. With a command in his heart, Yi Qinfeng passed through the gap and entered the 4th level of the universe realm. After he entered the 4th level of the universe realm, the restriction vanished, and a completely new world appeared before Yi Qinfeng's eyes. Although the 4th level of the universe realm was only 1/10 the size of the 3rd level of the universe realm, the scenery here was much more beautiful, and the flow of time was 20 times faster than the outside world. That waterfall is immortal dew. When Yi Qinfeng looked around the 4th level of the universe realm, he was completely stunned. He discovered that the waterfall in the distance was actually the immortal dew, which was rarely seen in the outside world. Beside the immortal dew pond, there were stalks of spiritual herbs that were over 1 million years old. Many of them were already alive and had intelligence. 3 restriction light balls. When Yi Qinfeng was strolling in the 4th level of the universe realm, he suddenly discovered 3 balls of restriction light floating in midair in a celestial bamboo forest that was shrouded in clouds and mist. Break! Yi Qinfeng used his mind to communicate with the restriction light balls and forcefully broke through the restriction, obtaining the treasure in the first restriction. 5-color stone. As he gazed at the 5-color stone that was only the size of an egg yet weighed 50,000 kilograms, Yi Qinfeng suddenly revealed dense, pleasant surprise, and he guessed the origins of this stone. My luck wouldn't be so good, right? I actually obtained a chaos stone in the 4th level of the universe realm. Yi Qinfeng restrained the excitement in his heart and communicated with the 2nd restriction light ball with his mind, and he obtained a dark gold universe ring. When he utilized the God-Eater brain to break open the universe ring, he noticed that the ring contained a huge amount of ancestral beast cores, blood essence, and Skirich pills. Moreover, there were even 10 top-grade Skirich pills that were priceless and would cause great competition in the Void God world. The heavens are really helping me. With so many Skirich pills and 20 times faster flow of time, perhaps I'll be able to cultivate to the 5th star Downlord realm before the end of the preliminary round. Coupled with the Devil Seal sword that's inscribed with Chaos Stones, I might really have a chance to seize first place. Yi Qinfeng muttered with excitement in his heart. What's in the 3rd restriction light ball? Yi Qinfeng restrained his excitement and forcefully broke open the 3rd restriction light ball, and he noticed that a Longan-sized medicinal pill that only had a single pill mark was sealed within the restriction light ball. It seemed to be very simple and ordinary. When he plucked this medicinal pill into his hand, he immediately sensed the powerful medicinal strength contained within this medicinal pill. A low-grade ancestral pill. Yi Qinfeng was even more excited because he'd never imagined that he would obtain an ancestral pill that was extremely important to him here. Perhaps he would be able to heal the injuries of Torch Dragon with this ancestral pill. At that time, their joint forces would be sufficient to deal with the dangers that might arise after the 100 battle competition. I wonder what other treasures are sealed within the 4th level of the universe realm. Yi Qinfeng closed his eyes and silently sensed the 4th level of the universe realm. He sensed the last restriction light ball in the depths of the 4th level, and his figure flashed over. Chapter 1669. What could be sealed in this restriction light ball? Yi Qinfeng's expression froze as he looked at the ball of light that was several meters tall. He immediately used the power of the universe realm to forcefully break open the restriction, revealing the treasure within. This is looking at the Tao tablet that was several feet tall and completely black, as if it had infinite magical power that could steal one's soul in an instant. Yi Qinfeng was deeply shocked. If his soul was not strong enough and he had the God-Eater brain to guard it, he would have been injured when he tried to peek into this black Tao tablet. God-Eater brain deduce. Although this Tao tablet was very strange, Yi Qinfeng felt that it was not simple. He controlled the God-Eater brain to penetrate into this Tao tablet and endured the invasion of the strange power in the Tao tablet to see through its secrets. The void Tao tablet was all-encompassing, and only those with great wisdom could understand its mysteries. Once understood, the benefits would be endless. When the God-Eater brain penetrated into the depths of this black Tao tablet, a large amount of information flooded into Yi Qinfeng's mind, allowing him to understand the truth of this Tao tablet. Who left behind this universe realm? There are so many good things in it. Yi Qinfeng took a deep breath and could not help but sigh. Space Swallower Bug, can you continue to penetrate the isolation restriction? Yi Qinfeng was very interested in the treasures in the 5th level of the universe realm. He had a feeling that the treasures in the 5th level of the universe realm were extraordinary. If he could obtain them, it would not be difficult for him to defeat a divine grade expert. Okay, I will try. The Space Swallower Bug appeared under the isolation restriction and opened its sharp teeth, trying to bite through the isolation restriction. After being bitten by the space swallowing bug, a powerful force suddenly surged out of the isolation restriction and directly sent the space swallowing bug, which had evolved into an ancestor beast, flying. A large number of cracks appeared on its sharp teeth and a large amount of blood seeped out. Space Swallower Bug, are you okay? Seeing that the space swallower bug was sent flying hundreds of meters away by the isolation restriction, Yi Qinfeng moved and appeared beside it. He gave it a true spirit saint pill and asked with concern, "I'm fine, but with my current strength, I'm afraid I can't bite open the isolation restriction spell." The space swallowing insect shook its head. Space swallowing insect, this is for you. Cultivate well. I believe that we will be able to open that isolation restriction very soon. Yi Chen-fong was not stingy. He took out the Qinkuan ring he had just obtained and took out all the ancestral beast blood essence and gave it all to the space swallower. Subsequently, with a single thought, Yi Chen-fong sent Xiao Wendai, the Black Rock Emperor, and the Blood Skeleton, who were cultivating in the universe realm, to the fourth layer of the universe realm. So beautiful, the fourth level of the universe realm is actually so beautiful. After entering the fourth level of the universe realm, Xia Wendy was deeply attracted by the beautiful scenery in front of her. A charming smile appeared on her delicate face. Handan, Dragon Blood Lion, these are for you. Break through to the ancestor realm as soon as possible. Yi Chen-fong gave the demonic pellet of the ancestor beast to the divine beast of chaos and the dragon blood lion. Roar, don't worry, boss. I will recover to the ancestor realm very soon. When that happens, I will know who my enemy is. The divine beast of chaos roared excitedly. He opened his mouth and swallowed the precious, demonic pellet of the ancestor beast into his stomach. He then entered the immortal bamboo forest to refine them. Matzi, Black Rock, Blood Skull, these heaven-piercing saint pellets are for you. From today onwards, you can cultivate here. Yi Chen-fong took out a number of heaven-piercing saint pellets and gave them to Xiao Wendy and the others. He said, the time flow here is 20 times faster than the outside world. Try to reach the peak of the main stage as soon as possible. Thank you, young Master Yi. Looking at the heaven-piercing saint pellets that Yi Chen-fong gave them, the Black Rock Emperor and the Blood Skull could not help but feel excited. They knew how precious the heaven-piercing saint pellets were. The value of each heaven-piercing saint pellet was unimaginable. If it were to spread to the heaven domain, it would be enough to cause all the major factions to fight over it. However, Yi Chen-fong had generously given them several heaven-piercing saint pellets. This filled them with gratitude. They rejoiced that they were able to follow Yi Chen-fong. After giving out a large number of heaven-piercing saint pellets, Yi Chen-fong went to the place where the infernal god Torch Dragon was sleeping and woke him up. Junior, are you in trouble again? The heavily injured Torch Dragon woke up from his deep sleep. He opened his deep and powerful eyes and looked at Yi Chen-fong. His voice was as loud as a drum. No, I woke you up this time to give you a gift. The infernal god Torch Dragon was very important to Yi Chen-fong. He was not stingy with the extremely precious, low-grade ancestor pellet and took it out. Ancestor pellet, you really found the ancestor pellet. Looking at the plain and simple pellet in Yi Chen-fong's hand, the infernal god Torch Dragon immediately recognized that it was the ancestor pellet he needed the most. He opened his mouth and swallowed the ancestor pellet without hesitation. Senior, I'll give you these 2 heaven-piercing saint pellets as well. With a thought, Yi Chen-fong took out 2 more heaven-piercing saint pellets and gave them to the infernal god Torch Dragon. Junior, I will remember your kindness. When I recover from my injuries, I will fulfill my promise and protect you for 1,000 years. The god-fiend Torch Dragon swallowed another 2 supreme-grade heaven-piercing saint pills and fell into a deep sleep again. Yi Chen-fong did not disturb the infernal god Torch Dragon. He returned to the 4th level of the universe realm and took out the demon sealing saber. He forcefully awakened the demon spirit within the demon sealing saber. Demon spirit, take a look at this stone. Is it the chaos stone you mentioned? Yi Chen-fong took out the stone that was emitting 5-color divine light and said, Damn, where did you find this chaos stone? The demon spirit exclaimed as she took out the demon sealing saber and looked at the chaos stone that was emitting divine light. With this chaos stone, you should be able to help me inscribe the ancestral marks on the demon sealing sword. Yi Chen-fong said, Yes, but this chaos stone isn't big. With my strength, I can only inscribe 100 ancestral marks on it and make the demon sealing sword reach the level of an upper, transcendent saint weapon. The demon spirit said, "With your help, can the demon sealing sword reach the level of a heaven-piercing saint weapon in a short time?" Yi Chin Feng said with a sly smile, "Yes, but that will cause great damage to my body." The demon spirit sighed softly and said, "So, I won't help you unless I have no other choice." "I know I won't trouble you easily." Yi Chin Feng nodded and said, "I'll leave the demon sealing sword and the chaos stone to you." "All right, I'll be able to help you inscribe the ancestral marks in 10 years at most." Because the demon spirit and Yi Chin Feng were in the same boat, she could only help Yi Chin Feng unconditionally and refine the chaos stone with all her strength so that she could inscribe numerous profound ancestral marks on the demon sealing sword. There are still over 8 years before the first round of the 100 Battles martial competition. I'll cultivate here for 5 years and improve my strength before I head out to hunt my opponents. Yi Chin Feng deeply felt that his strength was insufficient, and he urgently wanted to improve his strength as soon as possible. So he decided to utilize these 5 years of time to cultivate. On the other hand, 5 years in the outside world was equivalent to 100 years in the 4th level of the universe realm. Coupled with a huge amount of heaven-piercing saint pills, it was sufficient for him to break through to the 4th star or 5th star Tao Lord realm. Huff! Looks like I still have a chance to seize the first position in the finals of the 100 Battles martial competition. Yi Chin Feng took a deep breath and arrived before the void Tao steel. He withdrew a low-grade heaven-piercing saint pill and swallowed it, and then he circulated the Soul Eater technique to swiftly refine and absorb it. He improved his strength under the 20 times flow of time and charged into the 4th star Tao Lord realm with all his strength while controlling the Soul Eater brain to comprehend the Tao steel. Chapter 1670. Time flew by, and soon another 2 years had passed. At a remote corner of the holy domain of battles, a 1st star Tao Lord who wore black martial Tao clothes had a tall, pure, and cute figure, and a pink and tender face that was tainted with bloodstains sat on the branch of an ancient tree that was over 100 m tall. She was biting on a blood-red dragon blood king ginseng in an extremely unladylike manner while looking towards the distance. This beautiful little girl was the spiritual fish that Yi Chin Feng had been searching for. After the trials in the alien battlefield, the spiritual fish had grown up and became beautiful and charming. She had also grown taller. There are more than 3,500 people now. I wonder what my ranking will be with my current results. The spiritual fish glanced at the number on her identity token and swallowed the entire dragon blood ginseng king into her stomach. She quickly refined the ginseng king's enormous spirituality and healed the hidden injuries in her body that had been caused by years of fighting. Suddenly, an ear-piercing sound rang out. A sharp arrow pierced through the sky and shot towards her at an extremely fast speed. Buzz! At the critical moment, a crescent-shaped blade shot out from the spiritual fish's body and broke the arrow that was attacking her, protecting her body. Transcendent Saint Artifact. It really is a transcendent saint artifact. At this moment, a man who was as strong as an ox and was covered in thick scales walked out of the forest. His eyes were as big as bells, and there was a tattoo of a totem on his left face. He held a huge black bow in his hand and looked greedily at the dimensional sacred weapon that was floating above the spiritual fish's head. Ox King, my information is correct, right? This damned girl has a transcendent saint artifact. At this moment, a skinny man who was not even as tall as the burly man's legs, with a pair of sharp claws embedded in his arms and a cold light flashed in his inverted triangular eyes, followed closely behind. He looked at the spiritual fish's sexy body with a burning gaze. Yes, that scythe is a transcendent saint artifact. The Ox King nodded as he kept thinking about how to seize the transcendent saint artifact. Sensing the powerful aura emitted from the Ox King, the spiritual fish rolled her eyes. Her slender legs lightly tapped on the branches as she flew away at an extremely fast speed. Where do you think you're going? The Ox King and the Skinny Man saw the spiritual fish suddenly escaping and sped up to chase after her. They wanted to forcefully suppress her and seize the precious Transcendent Saint artifact. Roar! The 3-star demon, Lord Ox King, relied on its speed to close the distance between it and the spiritual fish. Its robust body suddenly expanded as it let out a series of earth-shattering roars, bombarding the spiritual fish. Buzz! After being attacked by the Ox King's roar, the spirit fish's soul trembled. Its flying speed was greatly affected, and it fell into the dense forest. The Ox King continued to close the distance between them. Following that, the Ox King's body emitted a terrifying demonic energy, splitting into a ferocious black ox shadow. It trampled on the void and charged towards the spiritual fish. Primordial clone. At this critical moment, the original clone of the spirit fish, which was cultivated by the original embryo of Tao, fended off the attack launched by the black bull shadow with its indestructible body and resolved the danger. 3 snakes sealing the heavens. As a massive amount of destructive power filled the air, the Skinny Man suddenly appeared. 3 snake shadows appeared from his body and flew into the air, sealing the space and attacking the spirit fish. Dimensional sacred weapon. Slash! After being attacked by the 3 snake shadows, the spiritual fish immediately controlled the dimensional sacred weapon floating above her head to slash at them. With one slash, the 3 snake shadows were destroyed. She then stepped on the 8 divine ape shadows and flew away. Little girl, you can't escape. Suddenly, a virtual light flashed in front of the spiritual fish. The Skinny Man, who was a 2-star demon lord, suddenly appeared in front of her. He quickly struck out with his arms, and his sharp claws pierced towards the spiritual fish's chest. Seeing the sharp claws piercing into the spiritual fish's body, a powerful bloodline power erupted from the spiritual fish's body. The gentle expression on her face was swept away. She burst out with a shocking force to block the sharp claws and forced the Skinny Man to retreat. Following that, the dimensional sacred weapon slashed down under the spiritual control of the spiritual fish. It pierced through the air and slashed towards the Skinny Man. Although he had dodged the attack of the dimensional sacred weapon with his strange body movement, the power of the sacred weapon still injured him. Like a kite with a broken string, he fell from the air to the ground. Monkey. Seeing the Skinny Man being attacked by the residual power of the dimensional sacred weapon and almost losing his ability to fight, the Ox King was furious. He burned his powerful Tao core and released a terrifying demonic power to attack the primitive doppelganger. He wanted to force the primitive doppelganger to retreat and rescue the Skinny Man. The Ox King was a 3-star demon lord, but the power of the primitive embryo of Tao was even more terrifying. After being refined by the spiritual fish, the primitive embryo of Tao had the strength of a 4-star Tao lord. Coupled with its indestructible body, it easily blocked the fierce attack of the Ox King. While the primitive doppelganger was blocking the Ox King, the spiritual fish stepped on the 8 divine ape shadows and appeared in front of the Skinny Man. No. The Skinny Man, who had been severely injured by the dimensional sacred weapon due to his carelessness, was scared out of his wits when he saw the spiritual fish suddenly approaching him. However, the spiritual fish had been greatly tempered after being tempered in the alien battlefield. She was unmoved by the begging of the Skinny Man. She stomped her foot fiercely, and the terrifying power directly shattered the Skinny Man's identity token and sent him out of the realm of 100 battles. 3,820. After defeating the Skinny Man, the number of the token on the spiritual fish's waist increased rapidly. It had exceeded 3,800 people. However, this result only placed her in the 40th place. The number of opponents defeated by the top 10 had all exceeded 10,000 people. Primitive doppelganger, kill him. The spiritual fish revealed her ferocious side. She handed the dimensional sacred weapon to the primitive doppelganger and asked him to attack the Ox King with all his strength and kill him with all his strength. The Ox King's strength was extraordinary, and his combat strength had soared in the battle mode. However, the primitive doppelganger was indestructible. Coupled with the dimensional sacred weapon from before, his attacks were instantly suppressed. The terrifying dimensional sacred weapon kept tearing apart his defensive trump card and severely injuring his body. As his injuries continued to worsen, the Ox King had the intention to retreat. He wanted to leave this place as soon as possible. However, at this moment, the spiritual fish stepped on the 8 divine ape shadows and intercepted him. In an instant, the spiritual fish exploded with more than 5 billion pounds of strength and bombarded him. The terrifying attack shattered his attack and forced him to retreat. How can your strength be so great? Feeling the explosive power of the spiritual fish, the Ox King's eyes widened as he exclaimed in disbelief, "Big idiot, don't you think you talk too much nonsense?" The spiritual fish no longer panicked and replied domineeringly, You are pretending to be weak." The Ox King's face darkened as his escape route was blocked by the spiritual fish and the primitive doppelganger. He was basically sure that the spiritual fish was pretending to be weak so that she could take advantage of his carelessness to eliminate him. The spiritual fish didn't answer the Ox King's question. Instead, she activated the bloodline of the divine ape shadows and punched at him. The terrifying fist radiance twisted the void and bombarded the Ox King's arms that were blocking in front of him. The impact numbed his arms and worsened his injuries. Primitive doppelganger, kill him. After forcing the Ox King back with a punch, the spiritual fish immediately ordered loudly. Just as the primitive doppelganger wielded the dimensional sacred weapon and slashed at the Ox King, who had lost control of his body, an invincible spear radiance pierced through the void like a meteor falling to the mortal world and stabbed at the primitive doppelganger. Although the primitive doppelganger used its indestructible body to block this terrifying spear radiance, it lost control of its body and couldn't launch a fatal attack on the Ox King. This allowed it to escape the calamity. In the next moment, a 6-star demonic lord in a white robe appeared. His skin was covered with thick scales, and his dark green hair was draped over his shoulders. He was holding a long spear and was a 6-star demonic lord. The spiritual fish was in danger. Chapter 16, 71. Young Master Lin, save me. Looking at the man who suddenly appeared, the severely injured Ox King was overjoyed and shouted for help. "I want this heavenly saint treasure." The white-robed man ignored the Ox King. His attention was completely attracted by the dimensional sacred weapon. "Primordial clone, let's go." Sensing the terrifying aura from the white-robed man, the spiritual fish sensed danger. She decisively gave up the idea of killing the Ox King and fled with the primordial clone. "Do you think you can escape?" The white-robed man curled his lips and revealed a sinister smile. A mysterious ancient scroll with mountains and rivers appeared on his body and blocked the spiritual fish and the primordial clone. In the next moment, powerful offensive Tao patterns appeared on the ancient scroll and blasted towards the spiritual fish and the primordial clone, not giving them a chance to escape. Roar! Roar! Facing the ancient scroll's attack, the primordial clone didn't dodge. He let out a long roar into the sky and used the dimensional saint weapon to face the attack with all his might. The saber slashed open the space and shattered the offensive Tao patterns reflected by the ancient scroll. The saber slashed onto the ancient scroll and shook it. While the primordial clone was attacking the ancient scroll, the white-robed man suddenly attacked the spiritual fish and wanted to capture her alive. Real God Blood Shadow, block it! At this critical moment, the spiritual fish burned her real God bloodline and formed a terrifying real God Blood Shadow to block the white-robed man's attack. Qilin Seal. Seeing the real God Blood Shadow that was twisting the void and shaking heaven and earth, the white-robed man frowned and quickly formed a powerful Qilin Seal. It was as though a Qilin had descended to the world. It trampled on the space and shattered the real god blood shadow formed by the spiritual fish. Divine ape bloodline burn! The real god blood shadow was destroyed. The spiritual fish endured the pain caused by the backlash of her bloodline and burned her divine ape bloodline. She raised her strength to the peak and performed the divine ape bloodline. God perplexing fist. With a punch, a terrifying divine ape shadow appeared in the spiritual fish's body. The terrifying attack was like an endless torrent and blasted towards the white-robed man with the power to destroy the world. Primordial clone, let's go! At this moment, the primordial clone held the dimensional sacred weapon and defeated the ancient scroll of mountains and rivers. The spiritual fish didn't hesitate. She stepped on the 8 divine ape shadows and the primordial clone. Divine ape bloodline, who are you? The white-robed man's strength had reached the peak of a 6-star demon lord. He was far stronger than the spirit fish duo. In less than 3 breaths of time, he had blocked the spirit fish duo and asked coldly, "Buzz." What answered him was the primordial doppelganger, slashing at him with the dimensional sacred weapon. "You're not going to tell me? Once I capture you, I'll have many ways to make you speak." The white-robed man's face sank, and he held the demon emperor spear that was covered in ancient scales as he moved forward to greet the black-robed man. Although the demon emperor spear in the hands of the white-robed man was a half-transcending heaven-saint weapon, the strength of the primitive doppelganger was limited, and it was unable to unleash the most powerful attack of the dimensional saint weapon. After a head-on collision, the attack of the primitive doppelganger was blocked. The spiritual fish lost control of its body due to the terrifying recoil and was forced to retreat. Surrender obediently. In front of this young master, you can't escape. Relying on his powerful strength to block the attack of the primitive doppelganger, the white-robed man pursued and launched a fierce attack at the spiritual fish and the primitive doppelganger. As the white-robed man's strength was too terrifying, the spiritual fish couldn't resist even after burning 2 bloodlines and cooperating with the primitive doppelganger. Just as the spiritual fish was about to be injured, a shocking blade light suddenly slashed down from the void. It carried a destructive force as it slashed at the white-robed man. "Who is it?" The white-robed man's face changed slightly. He held the demon emperor spear in his hands and defended with all his strength. However, the sudden slash of the blade light was extremely terrifying. It forced him to take 3 steps back and cracked the ground under his feet. "Leave him to me. You guys leave this place quickly." A pale, bloodless man with a stiff expression suddenly appeared in front of the spiritual fish and urged through voice transmission, "Many thanks." At this critical moment, the spiritual fish didn't stay for long. It quickly fled in another direction with the primitive doppelganger. "Where do you think you're going?" The white-robed man shouted explosively as he stabbed the demon emperor spear at the mysterious man with the intention of forcing the mysterious man to retreat and pursue the spiritual fish. However, the mysterious man's strength was extraordinary as well, and he detained the 6th-star Tao Lord realm. He held a heavy stone saber in his hand to resist the mysterious man's attack with all his strength, and they fought intensely within the dense forest, causing the mysterious man to be utterly unable to pursue the spiritual fish. "Huff! Huff! We've finally escaped." The spiritual fish and the primitive doppelganger fled for an unknown period of time before they entered a secluded gorge and gasped for breath. If it wasn't for the mysterious man's assistance, the spiritual fish knew that she would probably have no choice but to crush her identity token. "Alas, my strength is still too weak. How can I improve my strength as soon as possible?" The spiritual fish withdrew a natural treasure from her universe ring, and then she opened her rosy little mouth and took a large bite to recover the heavy injuries and exhaustion she'd suffered. "Big brother Chengfeng, have you ascended to the sky region? I miss you so much. Where are you?" At this moment, the spiritual fish really missed Yi Chenfeng, who'd protected her from the wind and rain. With Yi Qinfeng by her side, she wasn't afraid of any danger. "Who is it?" The spiritual fish swallowed a natural treasure and was recuperating under the protection of the primitive doppelganger when her sharp senses suddenly detected an unfamiliar aura. She immediately opened her tightly shut eyes and spoke with vigilance. "Don't be nervous. I have no ill intentions." A low voice resounded. The mysterious man who'd just fought the white-robed man head-on and rescued the spiritual fish suddenly appeared in the gorge. Moreover, there was a deep spear wound on his chest, but no blood flowed out. "You don't come over. Don't blame me for being impolite if you dare to come close." Even though the mysterious man had saved the spiritual fish didn't trust him. The spiritual fish held the dimensional sacred artifact in her hand as she gazed coldly at him and warned loudly. Dimensional sacred artifact, primitive Tao foundation. My senses weren't wrong. The mysterious man's inflexible face revealed special emotions as he gazed at the dimensional sacred artifact in the spiritual fish's hand and the primitive doppelganger that was glaring at him. He took a deep breath and said, "Are you from the Dark North Mountain?" "You are from the Sky Tribe." Seeing that the mysterious man had recognized the dimensional sacred artifact and primitive Tao foundation, the spiritual fish mistook him for someone from the Sky Tribe. She became even more nervous as she tried to think of a way to escape. "Don't be nervous. I am also from the Dark North Mountain. My master is the Lord of the Dark North." The mysterious man said shockingly, "Do you think I will believe your nonsense?" The spiritual fish said coldly, "Words can be faked, but bloodline can't be faked." As he spoke, the mysterious man activated the bloodline power in his body. A blood shadow of a true god that was much weaker than the spiritual fish appeared on his body. "Blood shadow of a true god. Who are you?" The spiritual fish widened her eyes as she looked at the blood shadow of a true god that appeared on the body of the mysterious man. Her heart was in turmoil. "I am now called Dao Wuxian. However, my original name was Ming Qianxin." The mysterious man said, "Ming Qianxin, you are my father's first disciple." The spiritual fish widened her eyes as she said in disbelief, "No, if you are my father's first disciple, you can't be here." The 100 Battles competition had a strict age restriction. If this man was Ming Qianxin, he was already over 10,000 years old. It was impossible for him to participate in the 100 Battles competition. "The reason I can participate in the 100 Battles competition is because my master left me a primitive Tao foundation." Ming Qianxin revealed many secrets, including how his life was hanging by a thread and how his body was severely injured by the Sky Tribe. In the end, he used the primitive Tao foundation to cultivate for countless years and was reborn, because he had abandoned his body and used the blood shadow of a true god to cultivate in the primitive Tao foundation. Ming Qianxin was not restrained by the 100 Battles competition. "You are really the senior brother." Ming Qianxin revealed many secrets that were hard for outsiders to know. In addition, he had the bloodline of a true god and the aura of the primitive Tao fetus. The alertness in the spiritual fish's eyes disappeared, and it completely believed him. "Junior sister, how is master?" Ming Qianxin was very concerned about the Dark North Lord situation and asked nervously, "Father is still alive. He is cultivating in a mysterious place. When he breaks through to the Tao God stage, he will ascend to the heaven region and take revenge on the Sky Tribe." The spiritual fish said, "That's great. I knew the heavens wouldn't destroy my Dark North Mountain." Ming Qianxin let out a sigh of relief as a rare smile appeared on his old-fashioned face. "When Master returns, we can conquer the heaven region again." Just as the two were talking in the valley, Ming Qianxin's expression changed slightly. "Not good. The demons are here. We have to leave quickly." Then Ming Qianxin took the spiritual fish and the primitive avatar and flew away from the valley. Chapter 1672. Do you think you can escape? The white-robed man with a gloomy expression rode on a 5-star demon, Lord Black Chilin, that was more than 30 meters long and looked like a moving mountain. He chased after Ling Yu and the others. Junior sister, you guys go first. I'll help you block them. Ming Qianxin sensed that the white-robed man was getting closer and closer. He decisively turned back and wanted to buy time for Ling Yu and the others to escape. No, we'll go together. We won't leave you behind. Ling Yu didn't escape by herself and chose to fight alongside Ming Qianxin. Junior sister, this person is very strong. As long as you leave, he can't do anything to me. Ming Qianxin knew how terrifying the white-robed man was. If he didn't have the primitive Tao embryo, he would have been killed by the white-robed man. Senior brother, I'll lend you the dimensional sacred weapon. Let's fight side by side. The spiritual fish was burning with flames. It lent the lower-grade transcendent saint weapon, the dimensional saint weapon, to Ming Qianxin. Sai, all right then. As he spoke, the white-robed man rode the black Qilin over. Ming Qianxin had no choice but to take the dimensional sacred weapon and face the white-robed man. Slash! Ming Qianxin waved his arm, and the dimensional sacred weapon turned into a huge side shadow that cut through space and slashed towards the white-robed man. Ancient scroll of landscape, block! Facing the attack of the dimensional sacred weapon, the white-robed man immediately summoned the ancient scroll of landscape to block and neutralize the attack. Roar! The black Qilin roared and instantly transformed into its human form. It held a pair of powerful axes that were at the level of supreme-grade, true spirit sacred weapons and slashed towards Ling Yu. Bang! The primitive clone stood in front of Ling Yu and used his indestructible body to neutralize the black Qilin's axes. True God bloodline, divine ape bloodline, burn! While the primordial clone was repeatedly defeated by the ink Qilin, the spirit fish had ignited 2 of its bloodlines and instantly improved its strength to the 3rd star Daolord realm, and it ceaselessly blasted numerous inherited divine abilities with shocking might towards the ink Qilin. Divine ape bloodline ability. Who is she? When the white-robed man saw the spiritual fish continuously using the divine ape lineage's ability, he revealed a look of astonishment. However, the temptation of the dimensional sacred weapon was too great, so he had no intention of letting go of the spiritual fish. He constantly displayed his powerful trump cards and fought fiercely with Ming Qianxin in the void. Due to the destruction caused by the fierce battle between the 2 of them, the sky of the sacred realm of 100 battles was constantly destroyed. Large amounts of ancient trees were constantly shattered and turned into nothingness. Battle form. The black Kirin was infuriated by the original embryo of Tao. It let out a furious roar and transformed into its most powerful battle form. It strengthened its attacking power and launched fierce attacks on the original embryo of Tao and the spirit fish, completely suppressing their attacks. Kirin's shadow of destruction. In order to restrain the spiritual fish's attack, the black Kirin immediately performed the Kirin clan's inherited divine ability. Numerous Kirin true shadows appeared, roaring in the heavens and earth as they charged towards the spiritual fish duo. Bang! The true god blood shadow summoned by the spirit fish could not withstand the attack of the Kirin destroyer shadow and shattered. The spirit fish was sent flying hundreds of meters away. A large amount of blood gushed out of his mouth. Junior sister, holding the dimensional sacred weapon, Ming Qianxin continuously launched fierce attacks on the white-robed man, forcing him to retreat. Seeing that the spiritual fish was injured, his heart tightened and he wanted to rescue her. Kirin, destroyer spear. Seizing the moment when Ming Qianxin was distracted, the white-robed man instantly merged with the demon royal spear in his hand. Fusing with the terrifying demon way, he stabbed at Ming Qianxin like a fearless Kirin. Although Ming Qianxin used the dimensional sacred weapon to forcefully break the Kirin destroyer spear of the white-robed man, his rescue mission was also interrupted by Ming Qianxin, so he could not withdraw. "Little girl, go to hell!" The black Kirin, whose bell-sized eyes flashed with ferocity, roared. He leaped up high and launched a fatal attack on the severely injured spiritual fish with his battle axe. He wanted to severely injure her in one go. At the critical moment, the primitive doppelganger appeared again and used its indestructible body to block the black Kirin's terrifying double-axe attack. Boom! An earth-shattering sound rang out. The black Kirin's double-axe attack landed heavily on the primitive doppelganger's body. The terrifying power smashed half of the primitive doppelganger's body into the hard ground, causing cracks to appear. "I want to see who can save you." After smashing the primitive doppelganger, the black Kirin stared the pale spiritual fish and continued to attack her. "You are courting death." Seeing that the spiritual fish was in danger, Ming Qianxin disregarded his own safety and forcibly withdrew to attack the black Kirin. "Go to hell!" Seizing this opportunity, the white-robed man injected a large amount of Tao will into the ancient scroll of landscape. Streaks of powerful Tao inscriptions flew out from the ancient scroll and bombarded Ming Qianxin's body at an extremely fast speed. They tore through his body's defense and severely injured him. Ming Qianxin did not care about the continuous injuries his body suffered. He held the dimensional sacred weapon and slashed at the black Kirin with all his might. The dimensional sacred slash dragged a long trail of Dao light and cut a gap in the air. The terrifying power frightened the black Kirin and instinctively dodged to the side. Boom! The entire ground cracked. The terrifying power spread between heaven and earth and injured the black Kirin. He lost control of his body and fell to the side. "Go to hell!" Ming Qianxin held the dimensional sacred weapon and severely injured the black Kirin. The white-robed man merged with the long spear in his hand again. He pierced through the void and stabbed at the black Kirin, forcing him to use the dimensional sacred weapon to defend himself. Boom! The white-robed man's spear pierced the dimensional sacred weapon. The terrifying power passed through the weapon and into Ming Qianxin's body. The spear forced him to retreat, and he spat out a large amount of blood. After stabbing Ming Qian Xian with his spear, the white-robed man continued to attack. He continued to unleash powerful killing moves, continuously attacking Ming Qian Xian and worsening his injuries. "Senior brother." The spiritual fish saw that Ming Qianxin was forced back by the white-robed man's unstoppable attacks in order to save her. She cried out in grief. Ignoring her injuries, she once again condensed the blood shadow of the true God to attack the white-robed man. The primitive doppelganger also broke through the ground at this time. It exploded with shocking attacks and attacked the white-robed man. "Get lost!" The white-robed man roared and changed into his battle form. The terrifying power shook heaven and earth and blocked the attacks of the blood shadow of the true God and the primitive doppelganger. "Junior sister, hurry up and leave. It will be too late if you don't leave now." Although Ming Qianxin had a dimensional sacred weapon, it was not his weapon. He could not use the most powerful attack of the dimensional sacred weapon. As his injuries worsened, he was burning with anxiety and shouted at the spirit fish. "Leave. None of you can leave." The white-robed man showed a trace of viciousness. He controlled the ancient scroll of landscape to expand and cover a radius of a few miles. He forcefully trapped the spiritual fish and the others in the ancient scroll of landscape. The next moment, he held the demon royal spear and continued to attack Ming Qianxin. He wanted to break Ming Qianxin's identity token and snatch the dimensional sacred weapon. Chapter 16, 73. Kacha! When the white-robed man struck out with his spear and sent Ming Qianxin, who was holding a dimensional sacred artifact, flying, a crack suddenly appeared on the ancient scroll of landscape. A man wearing a black martial arts robe and standing on a mysterious sword diagram appeared. Big Brother Qing Feng. Blood trickled from the corner of her mouth, and her face was pale. When she saw the person who suddenly appeared, her eyes widened in shock. She felt like she was dreaming. Yi Qinfeng, who had sensed the bloodline of a true god, saw that Ling Yu was severely injured. His body flashed, and he appeared beside Ling Yu as if he had teleported. He picked her up and quickly fed her a true spirit sacred pill. Ling Yu, treat your injuries well. I'll go take revenge for you. Yi Qinfeng could sense that Ling Yu was severely injured. His deep eyes shone with a fierce light as he looked at the white-robed man with a solemn expression. He slowly stood up and said, "Yes, big brother Qingfeng, help me teach that big bad guy a lesson. He's too bad." Ling Yu nodded her little head. "Don't worry. I'll make him kneel and apologize to you." Yi Qinfeng had cultivated in the 4th level of the universe realm for 40 years and refined a large amount of skyspan pills. Now he had broken through and become a 4-star Tao Lord. He was completely capable of crushing an ordinary 6-star Tao Lord. "Who are you?" Seeing Yi Qinfeng tear apart the ancient scroll of landscape so easily, the white-robed man couldn't help but frown and ask in a low voice. Yi Qinfeng stepped forward with heavy steps and said domineeringly, "Weaklings don't deserve to know who I am." Roar! When the heavily injured Black Qilin saw that Yi Qinfeng ignored him and walked past him, he roared furiously. He burned his powerful Tao core and attacked Yi Qinfeng with his battle axe. "Be careful." Ming Qianxin's expression changed when he saw the Black Qilin sneak attack Yi Qinfeng. He shouted a warning. Buzz! A white light flashed in Yi Qinfeng's mind as the heaven-level sword spirit flew out of Yi Qinfeng's sea of soul and turned into an invincible sword slash. With a shocking destructive force, it shattered the Black Qilin's dual axes and sent it flying, leaving a deep sword wound on its body. Bang! When the life of the 5-star demon Lord Black Qilin was hanging by a thread, the token on his body shattered, and he disappeared from the Sage of 100 Battles realm. Heaven-class Sword Soul. Looking at the white sword soul that broke the Black Qilin's attack and slashed him out of the 100 Battles Saint realm, the white-robed man immediately recognized that this white sword soul was a heaven sword soul that was extremely difficult to cultivate. "All right, I'll give you face today. I'll let it go today." Although Yi Qinfeng was 2 realms lower than him, the white-robed man could smell a strong sense of danger from Yi Qinfeng. He wanted to retreat and leave. "You can leave, but you have to kowtow to the spirit fish until her anger subsides." Yi Qinfeng stepped out with sword steps and suddenly blocked in front of the white-robed man as he spoke in a domineering manner. "Sir, I advise you to leave some leeway. I am the young lord of the Qilin race, Qi Huang. Provoking my Qilin race will not do you any good." The white-robed man looked at Yi Qinfeng with a gloomy expression and brought out his background. "You speak too much nonsense. Right now you have 2 choices. Either you kneel down and kowtow to apologize, or I'll hold you down and kowtow to you." Yi Qinfeng ignored Qi Huang's identity and background and said coldly, "You are courting death." The proud and arrogant Qi Huang was completely infuriated by Yi Qinfeng and couldn't control the anger in his heart. He held the demon imperial spear and stabbed at Yi Qinfeng. Qi Huang's spear pierced through Yi Qinfeng's body at a close distance. Not good. Qi Huang wasn't happy when his spear pierced through Yi Qinfeng, but he was shocked instead, and he instinctively dodged to the side. However, at the instant he dodged, the heaven-rank sword soul slashed towards him under the control of Yi Qinfeng's will, and it slashed onto the demon imperial spear that he instinctively blocked above his head. Pooh! When Qi Huang held the demon imperial spear in his hand to resist the heaven-rank sword soul's attack head-on, Yi Qinfeng swiftly stomped his foot down, and a terrifying jumbo footprint that revealed terrifying Tao insight stomped down forcefully onto Qi Huang's body, causing him to be blasted flying while a large amount of blood sprayed from his mouth. How could his combat strength be so formidable? Monstrous waves arose in Ming Qianxin's heart when she witnessed the scene of Yi Qinfeng heavily injuring Qi Huang with ease. She was shocked that the combat strength revealed by Yi Qinfeng, who was a 4-star Dao Lord, was actually comparable to a peak 6-star Dao Lord. Ancient scroll of landscape. Obliterate. Qi Huang swiftly swallowed a true spirit saint pill to suppress the heavy injuries on his body, and then he swiftly deduced Dao insight and fused it madly into the ancient scroll of landscape. It formed numerous Dao markings that possessed shocking might that blasted towards Yi Qinfeng. Devil Seal Sword, break! With a command in his heart, Yi Qinfeng summoned the Devil Seal Sword that Mo Ling had painstakingly inscribed with 100 ancestral markings with chaos stones, and then he swung it to intercept Qi Huang's attack. After inscribing 100 ancestral markings, it was just as Mo Ling had said. The Devil Seal Sword had attained the level of a high-grade, transcendent saint artifact. It stabbed forward with ease, and it shattered numerous Dao markings that possessed shocking might before it pierced through the ancient scroll of landscape like a hot knife through butter. No! Qi Huang cried out with pain when he saw the Devil Seal Sword pierce through the ancient scroll of landscape, and he was even disappointed by Yi Qinfeng's combat strength. Blood flate. After experiencing Yi Qinfeng's might, Qi Huang didn't dare to stay any longer. He ignited all the blood essence in his body at all costs and wanted to use blood flight to escape from this dangerous place. However, Yi Qinfeng was faster. With 4 times the time acceleration, he appeared in front of Qi Huang in the blink of an eye, blocking his escape route. Go to hell! Qi Huang roared and instantly fused with the demon imperial spear in his hand, turning into a raging Qilin spear shadow that pierced towards Yi Qinfeng at close range. Infinite chaos. Yi Qinfeng didn't dodge Qi Huang's spear attack. Instead, he used a divine ability that he had comprehended after 40 years of comprehending the void Dao steel and combining it with his life treasure, the Chaos Divine Wood, to counter the attack. With a thrust of his sword, a towering Chaos Divine Wood phantom that could support heaven and earth emerged from his body. It emanated endless chaos energy that merged with the Devil Seal Sword, amplifying the attack of the sword. Ka. After receiving Yi Qinfeng's infinite chaos sword attack, the demon imperial spear in Qi Huang's hand immediately emitted ear-piercing cracking sounds. The terrifying chaos sword intent slashed his body, tore through his defense, and sent him flying. If Yi Qinfeng had not shown mercy, this sword strike would have been enough to shatter his identity medallion and cause him to be eliminated. PFFF. Qi Huang, who was seriously injured, fell heavily to the ground as a large amount of blood spurted out from his mouth. When he struggled to get up, a white chain flashed in front of his eyes. Like a spirit snake, it bound his body, making him unable to move. Let me go, or my Qilin clan will never let you go. After being bound by the white dragon rope and unable to move, a trace of panic appeared in Qi Huang's heart. He ignored the injuries on his body and shouted loudly. Crack! As soon as Qi Huang's threat ended, Yi Qinfeng, who had descended from the sky, crushed his ankle. The immense pain made him cry out. Following that, Yi Qinfeng mercilessly crushed his knee, grabbed him by the neck with one hand, and made him kneel in front of the spiritual fish. Just you wait, my Qilin clan will never let you go. As the prince of the Qilin clan, Qi Huang had never suffered such humiliation. He roared in humiliation and self-detonated his identity token. He was eliminated in the most humiliating way. 8,700 people. After defeating Qi Huang and the Black Qilin, Yi Qinfeng's identity token had reached 8,700 people. He had suddenly rushed from unknown to the top 20 and immediately attracted the attention of many people.